kind of talked about it. I don't think this is necessarily a map veto, that when I look out it from map 1 to 2 to 3 to Pearl to Ascent at the end, that you can really tout this to be either way. I think as far as things have gone, they're pretty much on an equal playing ground, and you look at that icebox once more. Viper's Clan, they might have had better success as of recent, but still have SR Nacague versus Jopai, and it was kind of a stop. So we're going right in around number 1 here versus, whoa, wrong titles. It is SR Nacague versus Vipers.
Yeah, SR Nacague, I believe, will be starting on the attacking side. On the defense, it will be Vipers. Will change that up as soon as possible here, ladies and gentlemen. But this is what we're talking about. The front line for our boy Walk on Water, as he's ready to skate through ice and catch the first take. And Ichi Solo falls first immediately, though. You can see from SR Nacague, they're happy with that pickoff. They're trying to find a little bit of momentum to make it towards site. Nice punish, though, towards mid matters. West will get that takedown. And Second Love and the rest of SR Nacague prepared to take the site now.
Well, they're really trying to fight for anchoring things down. That wall will keep that maze control under their wings for the meantime here for Viper's Clan on the defense. But the early pickoffs here from Nacague give them that advantage that they need.
Yeah, SR Nacague, at the very least. Yanagi still hasn't changed his tag. Come on, man. You're in a different team now. You can do it one day.
So.
It feels like APH. I'm like, bro, you came back to SR Nacague. And I think that's one storyline people have to remember. SR Nacague, and back then SR Kadiliman was one of his home teams. And now it's a bit of a homecoming, bringing back that talent to the fold. But Yanagi falls first now to the hands of West. West with a 3K already. Push here coming in from Aeons. But the Nano Swarm will get the zone on. And Jumps instead will get the takedown. Burger now trying to move. Second Love towards the corner. A heartbreaker there for the Vipers Clan as SR Nacague will win pistol.
Great opening pistol here from that side. And the fact that they were able to pause after that initial contact and wait it out. You can see the defensive Vipers kind of pull on back. You're a bit more worried of that mid push, and that's why they gave up a bit more site control. And I think it was rightfully so too, that you kind of are expected in that moment to pull on back, but maybe if they're able to go a bit more aggro, get the pick off before backing off, then things could have been a bit better for them with the equalized man count.
Yeah, we'll see how Vipers is gonna adjust though. And we got confirmation apparently that Vipers Clan has a coach, and it's a familiar face to us, Smotski, if you remember from previous VCT seasons. And of course, experience in the tactical FPS scene. Kintara though, backs on the way. Vipers at least trying to make an expedition to see what's going on. But SR Nacague, good positions here to punish again and again with the high ground advantage.
You know, I realize at this point, has there even been an announcement for who the 5th of Action are? That Yanagi is out now?
No.
No. Well, I guess we're going to find out come the regular season.
As the Philippine news says, abangan. We will wait on
it.
Yes. So yeah, to translate it.
Anticipate.
Anticipate. That's true. That's the better word. Anticipation. And as we see Yanagi back on stage duty, he's going to go for the plant of this fight. We've got Vipers though hanging on back. They're going to need to rotate for this one, black and blue. But of course, with the Jet so low on the HP and a lurk here coming for mid, SR Nacague has all their bases covered.
Well, in this case, not a great case to be made for the Vipers retake here. Weapons abound, the flank coming in from Joms, an easy pick for him without much of a challenge, although the trade comes on in, which is good. They could retrieve that Bulldog, and you can see him running directly for it there, Burger. But this one's going to be a tough cookie to bite.
Yeah, small chance here now with the Bulldog, but time is running out. Vipers Clan effectively seeding it around as Yanagi just gets on the ropes and goes for the takedown. 1 HP in the dream, Burger at least doing some good economical damage. Beyond that, SR Nacague, they should win the round. And I was talking about coaches before, they're black and blue. I do believe Maxi is now back on that coaching role. He had such an interesting foray into the player roster. He did great, honestly, for the later run of SR Nacague. But it seems like right now, it's just that whole retool here for SR Nacague. The things that they used to do, they thought they would work for the PH scene, didn't. And now with a new roster with young faces, it's time to begin again.
Well, for sure, this would be the moment to do so. Last stage of the year. The last chances for them to get into that regular season and hope for better results, really, than what we saw from stage 1. It wasn't bad, but it was a far cry from what was expected based off of that off-season run they had right prior. Yeah. But now Nacague on this attacking side actually have a good chance of overrunning this site, looking at how it's only Burger on the defense here.
No, yeah, that's a good point because we honestly thought they would at least make it to the top 4. The fact that they're here in the open qualifiers did make it the whole blowing up the roster understandable. But speaking of people who've been working on the open qualifiers, Viper's Clan, you mentioned it before, many times they have tried, and this is their best chance to do it at the end of Split 2. They do back on away though, rifles at the ready, retake gonna be the possibility for the defense instead.
Well, retake coming on here. The denial from Burger, perfect on the timing, and perfect on the angle as well. That drops the spike. They still can get the plant down, but the damage has been done. Now the retake, even more potent.
Yeah, the Raptors position helping out Vipers in a pinch. You can see, though, very predictable where that Sage was going to put that spike down. Nacague losing Yanagi early. Still, Water trying to be in position. Burger right now with a shakedown. West is going to be there too, and the Vipers Clan do fight on back. But Walk on Water, looking to run away with some lives. Dashing over to the other side of the maze. Aeons will meet him in close contact, though. And Aeons with another one. Vipers Clan, eventually they'll get the round. Costly, though, in the end. Well played here by Viper's Clan at the very end of the rotation. And you can see, if they have a few more angles to utilize, that is the perfect chance for them. I do believe, though, that they have to keep tabs on Walk on Water as much as possible. His explosiveness is something that can really catapult SR Nacague to a bigger advantage.
Oh yeah, we saw that. I mean, we saw some great things, right, from previous duelists in this configuration. They've had many different roster changes in the past, but Walk on Water is a bit of that new talent that we saw last time on the round. He's made some miracles happen, and that's what the Nacague need in this moment when the going gets tough, and we would expect for their structure to really hold up, but it crumbles. Sometimes you need a bit of that star magic, that magic power to get yourself through the hump.
Yeah, I remember games against Game Lab Alpha, games against Sky Empire, where Walk on Water was just happy to look for those frags along the way. It really is, for SR Nacague, that new leaf. With Viper's Clan, they got on the board and they know what's tried and tested. They're gonna try to make it work. Slow up now, bouncing towards the pipes. It seems like Vipers are putting a lot of pressure early on for this AE hold.
Yeah, denies that pipes for the meantime. You have this kind of hold. The thing is, it's Aeons here, down out towards the maze. You'd expect the Jet to be the one a bit closer. It's still working on out, this bait and switch that they've got. Walk on Water, entries towards the site. They're fighting for the back.
Swap on, moving over to the maze itself. Walk on Water, though, with a third. And he's going at it yet again. 1v2 scenario. Needs the ace clutch if he wants to get things right. But Itchy solo just holds on and is able to just bring it back for Vipers yet again. We talked about that maze hold, and effectively enough, that bait and switch allowed them to repeat that angle and give them the edge.
It actually was pretty curious. I remember talking about the same exact thing last stage, where you'd want that Jet to be the one towards maze so they can back on off, so that whoever is playing, you know, towards that second floor or towards the mid of the site can help with utility out. In this case, would be a Viper. And still it works on out for the most part here for the Vipers defense. So great shots connecting, even though it wasn't necessarily on paper by the book. Sometimes you gotta step out of the page.
It got scared off by a single slow orb, and from that point on, Vipers were in control. Bladestorm, though, at the ready. Walk on Water, feeling the heat right now. Past 2 rounds has been him impactful, and he's looking to do the same old thing. Already, Shintaro goes down. Updraft right now to get the better angle towards Aeons. Has his engage, though, because of the double up. And while this happens, SR Nacague lurking towards the middle, as per usual from Mid Matters.
Yeah, they're waiting here, looking for an opportunity to eventually strike. Has to know the turret is here Mid Matters, and so the rotate is coming on in. You can see the pings on the map. They want to hit this B site. They want to hit it hard. The alarm bot's going to alert them to their presence. The rotation should come on in a second.
Walls up now. The Bladestorm still at the ready. Mid Matters patiently waiting for opportunity here, especially if they notice that they can kill the Killjoy. But Burger burns down Second Love. The spike isn't planted as of yet. It's really just SR Nacague trying to bait out even more so from Viper's Clan before committing.
Well, the lurk here, it has to find a pick, it has to find value, but the thing is, Wes, he's aware of this. He's going to clear him out and just finds an easy kill without much of a fuss here, without much of a contest coming on in. And Viper's Clan simply going to win those long-range angles. Oh, but some damage being done here from Nacague. 1v2, the res comes on in, that is huge.
This is really late, though. 13 seconds left. How do they make it towards the site? They have to cut through
Orange.
mid to B right now. And exactly that. You said the color and you say the place. Orange now is the cut. Viper's Clan, though, doesn't actually decide to put pressure on it. Gives a chance here for SR Nacague to put that spike down. Maybe out in the open. No, it won't be the angle for Aeons. Walk on Water fights back, but Aeons will get the kill now. It's 1v2. all up to Yanagi. He brought one back to life, but will that be the breath of death from the Viper? Truly it is. Viper's clan, they scramble back to win a round.
I thought their Viper's clan would have been able to scramble back towards that monkey bars and deny the plant, or at least contest it, but they let the plant go down, at least in the retake. It doesn't work on out for them, but if Walk on Water won that initial duel with a Phantom in his hands, that could have been the round. So small moments here, once again, at least working out for either side.
Yeah, Nacague, that was such a close call, but it was right on time to make it through. In the meantime, though, Viper's clan, I'm liking what I'm seeing from their defense. They have understood that Nacague looks more explosive with Walk on Water at the front. Sure, he can get those takedowns, but if they can control the rest of the battlefield, especially the angles they can take for everyone else, it allows players like Aeons to do wonders with it.
And how wonderful that would be if this is where they could make a name for themselves. Finally, Sholo, great shot on Yanagi, drops him early, and now their plant is going to be so much more difficult without that barrier.
Ichi Solo, ambitious as he is, same thing I'd say for their Jet. Viper's clan really reaching for the cookie jar right now, and it's such a far cry to what we saw from yesterday. So already you can see they put in the work and they put in the notice. Walk on Water leading the charge yet again to go for that A site. Lockdown now, gonna be called from Second Love. The 1-2 step now though, gonna get hampered by the Hunter's Fury. Cloudburst gonna get thrown over to the nest. Shintaro though spamming and Walk on Water with the punish. He's using the Cloudburst for cover again. That allows him to reposition to the left-hand side, but Aeons lines him up and finds a perpendicular angle to make it happen for Viper's clan. 4-2 opportunity again.
All right, the Viper strikes. And man, are their fangs deadly. Nacague forced on the timeout. On this attacking side as well, they have the Hunter's Fury to potentially deny the lockdown on the retake later on in this half, or at least in the next few rounds. But so far, it's been Vipers who have been so much more proactive in making sure they can cause uncomfortability for this Nacague squad.
Yeah, just players like Aeons have found so much opportunity out of nowhere. You think that Nacague has such a straight line approach to follow what Walk on Water makes happen. The path of carnage that he can create to make that space. But Viper's clan, just like, I'd say, the namesake that they are, they're finding those moments to strike. They're finding those angles. And case in point, if you're playing the Viper and Viper's clan, you better do a damn good job at it. And Aeons has honestly been impeccable so far at finding those timings.
Imagine if their name was like Harbor's clan. You have to play the Harbor.
You have to play the Harbor all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That'd be difficult, wouldn't it? Not for you. I know you like Lock in the Harbor. But Viper's clan, as of the moment, no problems yet so far.
So lame. It's so lame and I love it. I'm just like, okay, yeah, sure.
Hey,
Viper's
it's either
clan.
me or Asteroid. You gotta pick one.
Oh, dude. I will take you 100% any day, all day. I can handle the black and blue humor. You get one Asteroid moment, you're just like, I'm done.
You mean Skimok?
Yeah.
One of those things.
One of those things. Well, we'll get Pearl later, that's for sure. But as of now, Nacague, they need to get the ball rolling. And unfortunately, what they're trying to do in the front line isn't enough. They need to cover their flanks. That's what we talked about in the timeout. And the best player to do so probably has to be the veteran himself, Mid Matters, who's also the master of the lurk.
There's an alarm bot here towards mid, though. They're wary of that. They're aware. It's commonly placed, and actually, no, they run right into it. Never mind. I thought they would have expected at this point. But now that gives them away. And they should be expecting this kitchen push to come very soon. You can see here, Burger already marking towards that mid, knowing the gap is open.
Yeah, Walk on Water though breaking that turret, and here comes Presence now, courtesy of the kitchen. They also use the wall here now, and they do want to go for that top side plant. They have the ultimate to do so, and they have the timing from Mid Matters. Big picks right now from SR Nacague. Interesting enough though, since they didn't bring the Viper along the expedition, they can't go for the plant ASAP. Burger instead finds 2, jumps now, finds West in response. 3v2, but the spike isn't there as of yet where they want to. As Viper's clan tries to hold together, throw Snowman, and through the window, Burger with another delivery.
Very dangerous cross there. Across the monkey bars, you have to expect at that point that they should be holding that. Here, they have the Hunter's Fury to burn this. This is what we talked about early on, but they can give up the site for free since it is placed very deep.
Lockdown is there though, and Joms isn't gonna go for it. Instead, hit now to try and encompass the edge of that spike. No one detained, no one there. They notice on the other side that Mid Matters is ready for a face full of lead. Burger falls, Ichi solo with the resurrection, but the swing from Jones comes at the right time, and SR Nacague will steal the round away. What a play here from the attack.
Perfect timing there from Joms to recognize the res could come in online and to be able to trade out his teammate. And fortunately as well there, for Nacague Vipers, they went both for that deep yellow towards the wider end to try and fight Mid Matters, and they didn't split on up because then it could have been even more difficult for him to get that lurk in. At the very least, the trade perfect. Mid Matters absolutely huge in that round. 3 kills, all incredibly high impact.
Yeah, the first 2 especially opened up that site. I'm still wondering why I didn't bring him along towards that kitchen expedition. But since we talked about it a while ago, him being that lurk master, they just adjusted where they put that plant down and they got a good Viper spit along the way. So well done by SR Nacague. They moved out towards that B site. Burger, though, I like the angle of opportunity here, perhaps towards green. Second Love, do believe they have that know-how. Vipers already making that flank work. Second Love gets one. Ichi solo does go for Joms, though. 4v4 for now, and Mid Matters awaiting, anticipating, and looking for contact again here.
And he's gonna get the free contact as well. Isn't that something reminiscent of what we've come akin to and used to when it comes to Mid Matters? Always so aware to be able to rat positions on out, but he gets caught out this time by Ichi solo. 2v3. They have timing on this to deny the defuse. They know it's off. He gets the one, but then he's done. Vipers, they get the 5th.
Yeah, Aeon's got in a good position to put that Viper spit down, and unfortunately for Walk on Water, he didn't really swing early enough while the hit was going up. At that point on, went for the target, going for the defuse, and instead got seen by the Viper at the very end. So we're getting elements right now here, Black and Blue, of strengths from both sides, especially for both Vipers. Mid Matters doing usual Mid Matters things. Aeon's already with 11 kills. Burger also very impactful. This defense from Vipers clan is really spearheaded, not by that front line, but that back line that's so reliable right now.
That back line has been something that, you know, the Vipers clan has always had so able to really fall back on and rely on, as you say. But it's always been that front line that we were wondering, how can it really step on up? And we have a player like Walk on Water to press that pace. That's the difference that we're seeing now for Nacague. But Vipers, they have more of the same as well as with their new additions.
Yeah, we're looking about those halves yet again. The front to back impact here from SR Nacague needs to be worked on a little bit more, I'd say. Just needs to be the opportunity you want to go on. Vipers clan, though, in the meantime, though, towards that backside, Aeon's yet again holding that down, and he's just waiting for anyone to dash at him. Really, Vipers clan, they know that the spear itself has such a sharp tip on Walk on Water, and they want to get him first and foremost.
Second Love playing above that rafter. They're trying to fight for that backside control. They do not want to give this up. Trying to play the anchor really here. The walls at the cage, going to be a bit painful to walk on through, so they're keeping them there vulnerable.
This backside now being pelleted by utility. Aeon's trying to get into cover. Shintaro trying to find an angle through those updrafts, but Walk on Water finds one. Shintaro fights back, but Mid Matters still sure with the Sheriff. High ground right now here for Shintaro as the Vipers clan do fall on the part. Aeon's now all alone in the 1v3, but Mid Matters will be better there. A 3K for the Viper of Nacague, and it's 5-4 now.
What a great overrun here by Nacague. They really tried to anchor down Vipers, but you can see that Nacague were making sure not to commit to that push up until they know they've kind of seasoned the site a bit. Up until they know that they've peppered them down, hit them with the utility when they need to, and then they go and commit. And because of that wall, as you said, right, you saw there, Second Love really trying to find an angle with the updraft on top of the screens, but the toxic screen a bit too high for him to jump over.
And not only that, with, I believe, Aeon's, he had to hide towards the corner itself because of not only the snake fight, but things like the Nano Swarm and the Dart. There was so much value there from SR Nacague. They reassessed where Vipers clan's waiting. And perhaps this is where we kind of have to ask the question for Vipers clan. Do they become the ones being more proactive this time around? Will they be the ones who can set the tempo or else SR Nacague can just do that yet again and find the right moment?
As you said, right, because they were able to flush Aeon's back, he wasn't there ready for the trade. Instead, on Walk on Waters, as he was stuck in the corner, aware, or rather wary of that maze push that could come in from his right side. So really good job isolating those fights here in Nacague, and that's what you have to do, right, when you are in a lower economic state take the easy fights, the ones that seem a bit more advantageous, and now they have a Hunter's Fury plus a res to maybe tie this half up.
And I think by this point, Midnatters has more kills with his Sheriff rather than any rifle. I've counted like 5 Sheriff kills if my math is correct. And Eco Fragger aside, SR Nacague able to climb out of difficult situations. Viper's Clans though, still not out of it as of yet. We've seen how they've been able to hold down the line effectively. Still looking towards that Killjoy, towards that Viper, and what they can do for the rest of these rounds here.
If your math is correct, or if your mathers is correct.
I'll give you a second one there, Black and Blue. No third ones anymore.
Thank you very much for your courteousness.
Yeah, that's my patience being tested. But now it's gonna be a hard time to try and go for the execute. We go for the wall yet again. Nacague do get Yanagi to plant it down as per usual. Joms though with the darts. Do they realize the Killjoy is just nearby, though? That's the question. Counter dart now gives the intel. Viper's Clan knows that this is going to be a green hold. Aldrone try and garner that intel. Shintaro over the high ground yet again. And it's Walk on Water now trying to take a little bit of a vantage point. Dangerous, though, because Snowman, but the tap is stellar. And Shintaro falls. That's sure secure here from SR Nacague. Double dip and make it twice. Nice. Another one bites the dust. It's Walk on Water mowing them down alongside Joms. Easy pickings here for SR Nacague. Aeon's the only one on the other side. Nice frags with the Sheriff, but Yanagi will capitalize and finish up the round. SR Nacague convincing and confident there.
Okay, valiant effort there at the end. All right, we see you. But ultimately enough, the peaks isolated one by one. Just way too easy to shred down at that range. And Walk on Water. Maybe not a miracle per se, but certainly a stellar performance. The type that they needed to get themselves back into this game and get himself going. When he is starting to heat on up, he can be that linchpin that a lot of teams rely on to press him forward.
Will this be the boiling point of Icebox? That's the question moving forward. As SR Nacague now look to mobilize towards that A site. This time around, though, Viper's Clan, they were able to buy a lot of time despite being on the eco state. We've seen how much effective they become with the rifles in hand. Burning the wall early, though. That's already a sign here for SR Nacague that they can have an easier job moving forward here. Black and Blue. Viper's Clan takes notice. They back on the way towards screens, and the Hunter's Fury will provide cover instead.
Yeah, quick denial here of the retake potential, but great denial from Solo on that top floor control. They should be able to get the plant down, but it's going to be difficult. They have a res to burn, but they know as soon as they use that, they're probably going to get traded.
And Yanagi awkward yet again, trying to find an angle to put that spike down. Instead, though, lockdown going to be the play. Here comes Jomzo on the board, trying to play towards Nace. Yanagi mid-matters, trying to go for the lines. And the front heavy assault here from SR Nacague. Positions of power on the side, allows them to win the duels that Viper's Clan was desperately needing for. Shintaro, the only one left in the 1v3, but Second Love is there again to be the one to wrap the round. 6-5, Nacague with the lead.
Last round in
a bit hasty here by Viper's Clan at the wrong time. If they were earlier, they should have been able to, you know, re-hit that and retake the site as the plant attempt was going in, but they wait for the plant attempt to end, and then that's where they go for the retake, which then left Second Love, you know, to be able to place that lockdown in time as well, and left a bit more guns available for Nacague, and they filtered on through one by one. Did not really have much backside control nor presence from that rafter. It allowed Viper's Clan, rather Nacague, to simply focus in on that screens and change the channel.
Yeah, matter of urgency unfortunately didn't come to pass there for Viper's Clan when they already did a good job in punishing the Jet and also delaying that spike plant with the snake bites. So you can see the parts and parcels are there for Viper's Clan. You can see the pieces can come together. It's all about the execution, but right now Walk on Water will be the one to call to action. Bladestorm though denied by Aeon. Beyond that, the rest of SR Nacague will follow suit. Damage done. It's 5v2 after the resurrection. There's the wall into play. West keeping the pressure going with the Bulldog, but because of that Odin at the helm, Joms will going for the takedown. Burger will get the kill. Right click right now. Walk on Water finishes the job off. A coup de grace to keep it 7-5 for SR Nacague.
Switching sides.
And what a round here for SR Nacague to come back into, finally taking the lead at the end of the half. Quick and swift that round was, wasn't it? You can simply see that, you know, when Nacague, when they're feeling it, they really do look a cut above a lot of these open qualifier teams. But this is where we were waiting. This is really what we were waiting for, right? From a team like them, to really get themselves going. It might take a while, especially with this newer core, but when you have Walk on Water on a squad like this who can really press that pace, it just gives them so much more value on the attacking side. But the defense is what I want to see, if how Nacague can keep up the success.
Yeah, this effectivity from Nacague, can they continue playing at this level, or will Viper's Clan find those moments to exploit yet again? We talked about how Aeons was able to find those timings. We talked about how Burger was able to anchor down sites really well. But later on, the SR Nacague game plan just looked a lot more solid. What can Viper's Clan do on the attacking side? Walk on Water already fending off the lurk. The B take, though, looking to be ready. Nacague in a very aggressive position to keep an eye out towards yellow. Mid Matters is there too. Burger still fighting versus Walk on Water. But Viper's Clan is looking for an opening where Nacague is shutting the door on them. Walls up now, though. And Ichi solo moving towards yellow. Snakebite, though, in the way. Stall potentially yet again here from SR Nacague. Looking strong. Mid Matters, Nacague. But where's the help, mid? Where's the help? Eventually, he gets the trade over out Ichi solo. But that desync allows Viper's Clan to actually get towards the site itself. Snowman looking to be vied for. But Walk on Water is just better with the Sheriff 2 for him. Shintaro, a crack shot at the very least. It's 2v1 time. Maybe running on out here. No, there's still a bit of time. But they're running out of members. They're black and blue. And the Spike is out in the open.
Yeah, they know where he is now. Difficult to retrieve that Spike. Doesn't have much utility to do so. He has a Sheriff, so maybe he can hit 2 crack shots one after the other. And that he does. He hits the first on a second love. Now he can take this fight. He's retrieved that Spike. Fakes it. Looking for a reaction. Joms knows it, though. The shock dart could connect a bit too wide.
Oh, Frenzy, though, in hand. There's the first tap. He just needs a second one to get this kill. Shintaro looking to shine here. But Joms keeping it cool, keeping it calm. Eventually, Spike's going to get planted. Resets the timer. Now, the urgency is held here by SR Nacague. They need to make it towards the site. I love how Shintaro, though, is moving away to try and play towards the snowman. Keep Joms guessing. Joms now.
Has to do his wait.
He's going to the second floor, though. Give a different angle. He's looking for him towards halls, towards kitchen.
Whoa. Is he gonna wrap around? If he goes throughout this kitchen, this actually might work on out. He's heard him, though. He tags him 1 HP.
1 HP in the dream. The shock dart doesn't get the connection. And Joms, he has to hustle for the Spike now. Shintaro, though, does he have any bullets left in the chamber? Yes, he does. All he needs to do is look at Joms right now. Halfway done. And the frenzy is enough to get the takedown. SR Nacague eventually make it happen. Almost a second to spare, but in the end, it was just that 1 HP, that single bullet that Joms needed to capitalize on.
With barely enough health, barely enough time at the end, too.
How does that go that distance? How does that go that long with just a pistol? Shintaro still are shooting towards orange, but
what a pre-fire.
Eventually, yeah. Dude, it was so precise, but Joms eventually, he had the right idea to go for the wraparound. Very surprised he couldn't get the kill, but eventually, right? Because with 1 HP, the frenzy can easily take you down that way.
And really smart from him. He knew that after securing the half, there was no way he wasn't going to peek there. Oh, what a shot from Joms once more.
He's feeling it now. The heat is on, and Joms is there yet again. Talked about him. He's a bit of the outlier in terms of Split 1 experience coming in from ZOL Esports. Prepared now to do work for SR Nacague. Just because of that, mid Matters eating Aeons in combat. Snakebite there to dissuade him from pushing. Allows the other Viper, though, to move towards yellow instead. And since the wall setup is here for Viper's Clan, the execute is coming the same way.
Well, when it does come their way, perhaps things here could be held a bit better from this Nacague squad. Now that they have the rifles abound, the Viper's Clan, if they can find a pick off, equalize things up, maybe take backside control even, then things could work out in this eco of theirs.
Yeah, Ichi solo, though, advancing, and they want to go for the plant at the very least. A little closer towards Snowman. Good snake bite, though, now. And Ichi solo will fall. Nacague and Joms already on the board. They do have to notice, though, the Viper's Clan is playing towards yellow, and that they do. Wall is up. Mid Matters playing bodyguard. High ground here for Walk on Water, and the rest of SR Nacague should be able to wrap it up nicely. Good shooting from Aeons at least, but that's all the fight Viper's Clan will bring to the rest of the round, and it's 5-9 now.
Yeah, damage done, but the round won by Nacague even more important.
It goes to show here for SR Nacague that they can keep up their defensive fortifications after that first pick. they realize right now that they don't have to force that contact, and Viper's Clan is really trying to goad them as much as possible. You can see how Aeons was moving around towards site, moving towards yellow, and it allowed Solo to actually go for the plant. But SR Nacague, they're not going to take that bait. They understand as a team that that's where the discipline really needs to come to fruition. And with Viper's Clan, with the guns right now, SR Nacague, a welcome surprise towards green, a triple peek, Shintaro's out.
Well, they tried to press the issue, but Nacague a bit more ready for that. The triple stack on B-Long, that was a great read for them. But now the A side is where they want to hit, but there's lots of utility to keep him at bay.
Yeah, Viper's Clan's already there, knocking on the doorstep of Second Love. Solo, the burning to the Nano Swarm yet again, and it's gonna be Aeons eventually who gets that takedown. Walk on Water, though, keeping the wall bangs on as much as possible, trying to play that guessing game. High ground still, very effective. Joms trying to commit now with the push, but Burger is keeping an eye out as much as possible. Walk on Water, looking desperately to find that takedown, but the Viper's Clan are just so prepared here on the other side of the site. Eventually, their execute works, and it will be nicely done by the attack, 6-9 here.
Nice shots by Viper's Clan to get that round. They're able to really circumvent and take that site control quick and swiftly, even with all the utility already pre-placed here. It seems like as they were able to burn those nanos, they just bypass it, run through, and take the control they needed for the plant.
Yeah, they found the timing there versus SR Nacague, who surprised Viper's Clan with that triple stack at the beginning. But goes to show, though, you give rifles here to the Viper's Clan, they can actually fight back well. Blade Storm here for Shintaro, 2 at the same time, and it's an 8 take now as they go again.
Well, we've seen Shintaro be a very, very swift attacker. Really initiate the fight a lot of times on over. He gets caught out there by the turret, drops on down. He's taking some space, but he's taking a beating in this.
They're keeping really good tabs on him right now, just based on the utility. Wall looking to be set on up, though. Viper's Clan trying to find the timing for the plant. Shintaro, he's gonna Expedition. He's gonna go for the journey, and Shintaro will be able to collect the life of Walk on Water before he falls. 4v4 for now. Hunter Fury instead to call. Jumps, looking at least for a target or two. Checking out the site especially to clear it out for the likes of Yanagi. But now they realize it's more so on the other side of 410. Lurk also, courtesy now of the Killjoy of Viper's Clan. Yanagi already on defuse duty. Can Burger get the impact that they need? Tap to come, but mid matters. It's just more precise. And in the end, SR Nacague will take the site, take the spike, and take the lives of Viper's Clan.
That was crucial. Burger needed to be able to connect those shots there on that flank to be able to give them a bit more presence, pull a bit of aggro away, really, from the retake, but not able to connect those shots. Mid-Mathers quicker on the swing. And SR Nacague playing that retake perfectly, even though, you know, the Hunter's Fury may not have even gotten a tag. The lack of information was still information within itself. They knew the site was clear. They overrun it. You can see him shock dart the spike as well to remove any utility on it. And at that point, Viper's Clan were left out dry.
Yeah, that second shot there from Jumps allowing Yanagi to actually push towards the site, and that gave them so much confidence on that retake. Opportunities there could have been made by Viper's Clan, just didn't really go the way that they wanted. And they go for middle right now. Poison Cloud gonna be there. Second Love prepared to contest this, though, and that's something you see here from SR Nacague. They have the angles right now to fight back at Viper's Clan if ever they choose to go this way.
Well, they've got some choices and options here. They're pushing for that kitchen, looking to cook. Walk on Work, and hear all of this coming away. They're gonna try and pincer them down when they drop on him. Mid-Mathers in a difficult spot. He's gonna need to maybe get a kill here at the very least. He gets that one.
You got it. 1 for 1. Aeons with the trade. Thought the spike was gonna get prevented, but as it stands, it's still SR Nacague though with the advantage as they find one more on the outside. Shintaro dropping on down to find opportunity. Blade Storm isn't gonna be sharp enough. Blunted instead by the Jet on the opposite end. 2v2, swing comes. Shintaro with a 3K already. Yanagi though has the resurrection, and he brings back his teammate to life. 10 HP, a single bullet can do Shintaro in. And as he picks up the spike here, Yanagi finds him mid-transit. It's SR Nacague who holds it down again.
Big round here from SR Nacague. And that plan, that take can be difficult to really shut down sometimes, right? We see that come in a lot and teams just struggle to get the retake going. But in this case, they even deny the plan from really being placed on down. And at that point, half the job was done. Mid-Mather is ratting himself once more. And he saw that toxic, that Viper's ult, the Viper's pit. He was like, hey, I'm used to this. I'm a Viper too. Let me show you how it's done, Viper's Clan.
Well, you asked, and Mid Matters will deliver. That's the thing. But Viper's Clan, unfortunately, as you mentioned, getting outplayed by the Viper and the Nacague already, shutting down Shintaro to begin with. So effective, that slow orb. Get that control. If anyone peeks you, they're pretty much dead to right. Case in point, a second target now. Joms with a helping hand, but this is just all SR Nacague moving forward from A.
Well, so much more pressure. Joms here. He's pressing the pace. Aeon's good shot. He's been pretty on point with the Sheriffs today, but it won't save him, nor Viper's Clan in this round. 6-12, Nacague a dominating lead to end this possibly.
Yeah, this has been such a shift of momentum here for SR Nacague, and a timeout now called by Viper's Clan to boot. You talked about how we've seen a few impact frags there from Aeons, at least getting some good shots with the Sheriff, but in economical stakes, it's been a struggle here for Viper's Clan to get really much of the map. Any kind of momentum when SR Nacague has guns and the advantage against their opponent, they're happy to take it with the new front line that they have. And case in point, every single aspect of that map was theirs in that last round there.
I would have liked to see this timeout called earlier, though, as Nacague were really steadily building up a lead. They call it now when they have zero margin for error, if anything. As you said, with that new front line that Nacague have, that little bit of space is something they love to abuse, love to employ a lot of times against the opposition. And Viper's Clan, when that opening is given, SR Nacague know how to swing that door even wider.
Yeah, SR Nacague, the door is wide open if this is the performance they're gonna bring from the Open Qualifier to the regular season. Job's not done though, this is still a best of 3. And of course, the Viper's Clan, they have a chance to still fight on back. I'm looking forward to what Burger can do though with the lockdown. He had a few opportunities this half here, Black and Blue, just didn't really pan out the way he wanted.
Well, sometimes that's how it be, right? You think you got it, but then it ain't. Operator out here for Nacague. And this is a very different look that Vipers might not have even considered at this point. So, and then they throw the Viper's Pit in their face. This is a very difficult round at this point. And the fact that they have that up towards mid, a lot of times you want to circumvent that ult. You want to go around it, maybe split the site. But with this push, let's see how it goes.
You think the pit is the home turf of the clan. Instead, right now, the shot doesn't connect from Walk on Water. An opportunity now handed here for the Viper's Clan. Can they continue on? They have a big intel here, Black and Blue. They know that B site is pelleted with the Viper's Pit. They know middle's contested right now for SR Nacague. Can they find the opening here?
Well, that was the alert there for them to know that maybe the B site ain't the way to go. They're rotating towards this A site. The op is already rotated as well. Walk on Water, anticipating it. Little does he know, they're much further back than he might think, but I think he's playing this so that by the time he gains information, the team would be there. Here comes in that lockdown. You can see him wanting to dip in, maybe get a pick off before backing away.
Yeah, Aldrin searching for a target, then they spot that Walk on Water immediately. He's still happy to hold the angle though. Dashes on out now, updraft to try and display a few bullets. And eventually, he will be felled there by Aeon's Viper's Clan. They found the momentum, and they found the opening. 2 down here. It's 5v3, and they get the plant going too.
A bit of ambitiousness there, and he gets caught out due to the detain. I like the attempt, for sure, but sometimes you get a bit overzealous. Joms, big pick off. Okay, difficult to retake with the op, but if you get a pick off like that, who knows?
Yeah, he picked up the operator and picked up the mantle of responsibility. West, though, he didn't get the right angle versus Nacague, but the rest of Viper's Clan will do so instead. 3 for Shintaro, and Viper's Clan stay alive. Perhaps SR Nacague a bit too ambitious in that round there.
Well, I think that really is the point of it, right? We saw the opening push there towards mid. Okay, it doesn't work on out. But once the lockdown was placed, dipping a bit too much. He was already spotted by the owl drone, and he knew the lockdown was to come. And because of that, Vipers simply knew they had a free kill in their hands, and they took it, and that was the opening they needed.
Yeah, this is just Viper's Clan showing how resilient they can be. At least they know where to move around the map. They know how to take those sites, and especially here, if you have Shintaro who can start popping off the way that we saw from Walk on Water, we do have a fight for Icebox in our hands. Aldron, though, scouting things out. They've already been traumatized and conditioned by Mid Matters before. Just making sure there's no one close by here.
And the only thing they have to worry about at this point is, once again, will Nacague be on that push here towards mid? You can see that they leave that Killjoy to wait all the way towards spawn to try and catch out that flank that they know inevitably likes to come on this Nacague squad.
This has been the default plan of VIPRES Clan. Tried to go aggressive, but through the wall and through the smoke, it's just all Nacague instead with the takedowns. They already ground the Jet, and Second Love is there to find Solo 2. 5v2. We rely on the Hunter's Fury here for West if ever there's an opportunity for VIPRES Clan. But the lockdown now, the call. They launched the ultimate actually. Just trying to break that as soon as possible. Nano Swarm now going to be the call too. At the very least, trying to play that post plant, but Walk on Water will run over them. And SR Nacague will win out the map. Advantage here for SR Nacague in the series.
Well, no real problem. It hasn't not been ever since it swapped on over to the second half. The only round that VIPRES Clan was even able to win was that second to the final one. And with really such a confident second half on the defense of all things for SR Nacague, they've set the tone and the pace for this opening series.
Yeah, SR Nacague, this new look looking pretty spicy, pretty shiny to say the least. And I love to just talk about what they were effectively able to do there as SR Nacague as we check out the stats. Walk on Water with 24 takedowns, 6 first kills, and such a strong front line right now, buying so much space for the team.
Yeah, and we talked about, SR Nacague. They did have some pretty good duelists in the past, and that's no knock on anybody else. But Walk on Water could be those fresh legs, could be the different look that they really needed to add a different identity to the Nacague brand we already come to know and love.
And you also got to give big props to what Mid Matters was able to do. Many impactful share shots. I also love how Joms was able to just pick up the pieces when you'd see either Second Love or Walk on Water lose out their duels. And there is just so much, I'd say, years of responsibility right now here for SR Nacague. They have all these players that can pick up the pieces of where someone else was able to basically left off from. And as we check out the highlights, it has been the case in point there. SR Nacague, they got off to a good start. The VIPRES Clan, though, some fights from them when they got the rifles, and especially from players like Aeons who could get those kills along the way.
Yeah, the defense earlier on from VIPRES Clan seemed more competent than anything compared to their second half. We saw many times they were able to really stifle some of the plans here of that SR Nacague squad, being in the right moments at the right times, but they just weren't able to replicate that success on the attacking side, especially with when you see players like Mid Mathers on the defense for Nacague in that second half be a big problem to a lot of their plans.
Mid Matters has just been the cornerstone of SR Nacague as a whole. They had such a re-roster right now, removing 4 players, effectively bringing back 1 from the squad way back when, and having 3 new young additions. It's such a new look right now for SR Nacague, and it's very interesting because we always talked about them as a bit more of that disciplined veteran team. You know where their influence lies from in the FPS scene. But now, it's a lot more explosive, a lot more impactful, and a lot more, I'd say, high octane as they deliver that win.
For sure. Well, you mentioned it there briefly, and Walk on Water, he delivers the win with Grab Unlimited at the end. Gave us a miracle and gave us even more. This man knows when to push the envelope and knows where to draw the line for SR Nacague. And because of him, really, a lot of things were done to really get map number 1.
Yeah, SR Nacague, already you can see the additions working out really well. VIPRES Clan, though, no slouch today, and I do feel like this is going to be a better day moving forward for them if they want to get the reverse sweep going. Will it happen, though? That's the question. Or can SR Nacague continue on and wrap it up and move on to the regular season yet again? There's so many questions right now looking to be answered, but here at the end of Open Qualifiers Finals, you already know that 2 will still stand and 2 will fall. Who will make it the regular season? It's such an interesting question right now here, Black and Blue, and I kind of just want to pick your brain real quick. What can VIPRES Clan do into the next map to adjust versus SR Nacague?
I mean, we're looking at Pearl, right, which is a very, very curious map. We know that this has been a pretty storied set piece for this SR Nacague squad, so if they can play their game and keep things up, then maybe they can bring us into map number 3. But for the meantime, we're going to go into a quick break. When we come back, it's map number 2. Oh, well, here we go. Map number 2 up on the ready here. We got Vipers Clan versus SR Nacague with a pretty swift win at the end for SR Nacague. They're going into it. My friend, my good guy, Dak seems to be somewhere in the ether, so it is only me. He has returned.
Great
We are
intro!
both in
I'm so proud of you! I'm so proud of you! You almost
Thank
never
you.
do the intros, and you got that well. But we are back here, ladies and gentlemen. I was in another dimension for our first few seconds there, but we are going to go back to reality and back with SR Nacague with a 1-0 lead over Vipers Clan. They're one away from qualifying back to the regular season, which was a far cry from what they did last time when they were directly invited instead. But you can see the new look of SR Nacague looking pretty polished right now, and as it stands, it's a lot more aggressive and a lot more impactful from, I'd say, the more methodological and tactical approach they took.
Well, so far, but let's see if that is going to remain true here for Pearl. You know, when you were looking at Pearl last time around for the SR Nacague squad, which really played tactical, it was working on now. It was working really well, but then there just seemed to be something missing at the end of a lot of their bouts. Someone to push that envelope, somebody to play outside of the box, and when you have a player like Walk on Water, he can give you those miracles exactly when you need.
Yeah, and I think that's really the point, right, we made about SR Nacague last season. Their plan is sound. Their ideas are good and their execution is fine, but it became a little bit more predictable at the very end, where everyone else have read the playbook and understood what SR Nacague was gonna do, and they brought their own wild cards to fight against it, and that's why they honestly struggled near the end of the playoffs. But with a new look, it will be, of course, perhaps a new destiny as they move forward now. One away to taking the series, and we can talk about their opponent, Vipers Clan, and while they are down the map, I do believe their map pick is next, and we're gonna go into Pearl, which is already an interesting pick to begin with.
Well, I am going to be curious to see how exactly this agent select turns out in the first place. SR Nacague, they have mid-mathers on that classic Astra, as we've come to know at this point. They forgo the Phoenix that we did see them run at the last time with a different configuration, and have Walk on Water on his signature jet. Yanagi on a KO, which is akin to what we would see him kind of play every now and then on a map like Pearl.
Yep.
But if you look at really Vipers Clan here, it's a double controller, which they pull out once more. That I think is a very curious choice.
Yeah, and it's an interesting strength that you can bring to Pearl. We've seen, especially in the lock-in tournament, we've seen the international scene, how stifling it can be. But like I mentioned about the series between Rambutan and Tatay as well as Kadiliman yesterday, it is such a level of difficulty in coordination that you need to get right if you are gonna play both those walls at the same time. Matter of timing and a matter of where the Harbor wall will go in contrast to where the Viper wall will be set on up. I also like the fact though that they have this guy on Wes, because this allows him to make some plays by himself, be self-sufficient with those blinds even, and be aggressive alongside Shintaro, because it seemed like after Shintaro, Wes was very aggressive and we wanted to play into the front line too.
Well, we're going straight into the game here. Round number 1, Vipers Clan on the attacking side. It's Nacague here on the defense. As we see now, Walk on Water, they make that contact here early towards mid, but pull back, not wanting to over-aggress.
Yeah, double initiator though for the side of Vipers Clan, and you already talked about that KO pick being something standard from Yanagi back in the Action PH days. Aggression though from Joms, punished by Burger. He was waiting by the doorstep. The push now here from Shintaro, and Vipers Clan, they understand that Nacague love to play towards the middle of the map. They do fend that off. Yanagi though with the pop flash tries to go for a swing of his own. Doesn't get the takedown, but the fragment is there to stall it out instead.
Yeah, it's a good stall too. That allows the defense to be able to rotate quickly in here. And now they don't get overrun, but he's not looking the right way. The flank from Aeons comes in big. Walk on Water has the Sheriff to contest this long angle though, but he's not connecting, not yet.
Walk on Water has to deal with much. Itchy Solo is able to just isolate him and get the takedown. Second Love now fling from heaven, and the Vipers Clan are just crawling all over side here, slithering now to put that spike down. In a 1v4 scenario, and only with a classic. I don't think Nacague can get this whatsoever, but maybe, just maybe, with a shot like that, Second Love can have a chance. Firepower though might be a little too much, and with low HP, Viper Clans are they're just waiting for confirmation that they get this win.
Yeah, there's no real chance for this 1v3 unless you get some miraculous right clicks that just fortunately come his way. This round is done. Vipers Clan really good in using their man count to just overrun once more the defense here of Nacague, much akin to what we saw a while ago on the opposing end for Viper's clan on Icebox's defense, but in this case, even with the stall that Nacague was able to put there, because of that flank from Aeons, it just opened up the site and gave Nacague the Viper's clan the confidence to simply flood and pile through that back hall.
Yeah, and that's a good point right now. We saw how they played towards that connector. They really flushed out SR Nacague from having any other angles behind them, and they were so secure despite even the stall, since they had that long flank available. So many angles right now that the Vipers clan can utilize, and I do wonder if that's going to be the game plan moving forward. Cascade throw things out, A main control to secure the orb, and as of now, the Vipers clan is establishing footholds yet again and making Lurk's wonders and happen with Aeons.
Well, great opening pick here from Vipers. That's 3 now it makes for them without much of a contest. And this could be a flawless very soon, as I jinx it.
How dare you? How dare you say that?
I knew while I was saying that was about to happen and that I was about to jinx it, but I went with it anyways.
I can't believe you said it and it immediately happens. Cast or curse anyone, but the Vipers clan, of course, make it clean effectively with a 2-0. I do like the fact though that they're playing with a lot of control right now with obviously the double controller, but many a player they're just gonna be passive about those Harbor and Viper setups, and especially when you have someone on the lurk. If you're aggressive enough and you're confident enough to push towards the site anyway, you can immediately take so much map control with this configuration.
Well, that control that, you know, we talked about a lot of times, when you have a double controller, you win out that utility shift a lot of times quite handily if you play your cards right. But that doesn't mean to say Nacague don't have utility of their own. They have a lot more initiating power, and that's something they can utilize. There isn't much hard info to be gathered here by Vipers, as Sky is their only gatherer, really.
And I feel like in a pinch, of course, SR Nacague, they can get the advantage with the Fade and the KO to boots. Spike now looking to get planted. Itchy solo on it inside the cove. And as of now, Second Love wants to push, but the Cascade gets in the way. Timing. Essence here for SR Nacague as they regroup towards the secret area. Mid matters first and foremost. Trailblazer gets the stun though. And Second Love is in the perfect angle to get the takedown. Has to re-zip though, has to re-peek. Goes for a second kill. Aeons now makes the trade happen. Burger's there too. But the Vipers glad they're losing out on the numbers. And SR Nacague are already established on the site. Westo, an opportunity. They line up for him. He gets 2 first troubles. 1v1 right now. Fragment yet again here from Yanagi. Getting value, but he misses the marker. He misses the shot at the end. It's Yanagi with the final takedown. Just runs out, I believe, of ammunition. And it's SR Nacague who survive it.
That was so awkward there. The trade from Art initially, you saw that push come on in from SR Nakage's retake. And the trade from Art really came a bit too late. Aeons, he was a bit too deep towards that angle. You can even see that as soon as Second Love got that kill, he flicked back around to Art, expecting that swing, but no. And then when it comes here, this exact one, you can see him waiting for that Art push, but then when it comes back, somehow they line on up in this 3v1, and the one gun that West retrieves is one that only had 4 rounds in the mag, jumping around the corner, and I didn't even expect it, but even the more unexpected happens.
Yeah, I didn't expect that too. It's just he had the call. He had Yanagi honestly caught with his pants down with a knife out, but just runs out of bullets, unfortunately. Didn't realize that the lesser ammo count there might have done better with the Spectre, honestly, but case in point, it was a very, very costly round there for SR Nacague. They get the round, sure, but the Vipers clan, this is their momentum now. They have the Reckoning too, and you can see that they're so confident as they push towards B here.
As we see now, they have the Reckoning to get for this retake going on in. Waiting though, but they back on off, realizing, hey, there might be a bit too much pressure. Let's try and fake out the defense.
And the Cascades yet again to allow them to withhold information as much as possible. Ashto burned already here by SR Nacague. They were expecting that B hits. The Vipers clan, instead that rotation towards that A side judge in the middle might not get much value.
30 seconds
All to main
left.
though. Vipers clan, they can execute again the Reckoning to begin with.
I've got your trail.
Realizes nobody's really waiting inside of here, so the plant goes down. Not much of a contest from Nacague. Great catch here from Burger once more, and Walk on Water. They're ready to get this retake going on, but Aeons, another quick shot.
Yeah, Viper's clan, they're so prepared with the angles here. The press comes, but it doesn't matter. Shintaro ready to fight for his life. Second Love, the only one left here now. And Ichi Solo will just return it to center. 3-1, the Viper's clan convincing on these 8 takes here.
Well, those type of moments, really, when Viper's clan can secure themselves, is rather when they look best. And we saw a while ago that the early map of Vipers is pretty convincing, but it comes down to the mid-game adjustments, where Nacague have shown to be better. Once they finally get to read on how Viper's clan has been playing, they've been able to make that adjustment, and it's Viper's clan who, it's a counter adjustment that I want to see later in the map if it's going to come into fruition.
And I wonder what SR Nacague is going to do now. They go for the mid take, actually. Rare aggression from the squad, but I guess it's because of that new roster. They just pile up towards top mid, walk on water. Prepared for it. They still away from the blades. If he can get some really good shots, that's momentum. But Ichi Solo, Viper's clan knows what's coming. They understand that this can be the swing from top mid. Ichi Solo mowing them down. Burger's there too. And it's just easy pickings here for the Viper's clan as they have a distinct advantage now and move towards that B site.
Well, coming into it, great help. 5 Vipers to make sure nobody's isolated. In those eco moments, you don't necessarily want to consistently have a lurker who's all alone, because then he could get caught out. That drops the rifle, gives one out to the opposing side, and then anything can happen at that point. So Viper's clan here making sure no man is left unguarded.
Yeah, they understand especially that they can't allow any opportunity to happen here for SR Nacague. It's been such a stifling approach here from Viper's clan, so much better compared to what we saw in that first map. And the execution of ideas, especially with composition and the way that they're playing, it really feels like there's so much reservation about it. They know how to hold things back, and they know that they don't need to over-aggress against a team like SR Nacague. Jumps, tries at least from heaven, but he's gonna have to die to the spike, and the Viper's clan, yet again, looking to pile up the momentum and the money moving forward.
Yeah, no real chance. He's got that horizontal crosshair, as I like to call it, the Asarai.
The Asarai?
Yep.
How about mine? What do you think about my crosshair?
What even is your crosshair?
It's a box.
Oh, that atrocious square with a dot in the center. I don't even know where that comes from.
Nah, dude, I just made it up, honestly. But there's no making up that the Viper's clan looks so much more informed right now. And it really proves that there's a lot of practice behind the scenes for a team like this. If you're going to run the Harbor Viper and coordinate this well, then you know they put in the work here.
Well, that work is something that really, when you see Viper's clan, you see pieces here that could really make a VCT run of a team. And if they can add a bit more of this kind of, I guess, intricacy to their play, especially if they can finally improve on what we saw compared to Icebox, where they had to bear mid-round, or rather mid-game adjustment to the counter adjustment of the opposing side, then this team really has what it takes to make some noise in the VCT.
Yeah, it feels like the way here for Viper's clan is complexity. This composition right now on Pearl is showing the biggest strengths that we've seen so far compared to what we got on that first map. And there's a reason why they picked it to begin with. Mid matter still backing on away towards Secrets. They have a bit of Flowers control too, so at the very least, they have 2 angles to burst out from if ever. Make that 3, as you also have Link now and Control. Since Viper's clan focus heavily towards main, this is the opportunity right now for SR Nacague, but Shintaro and Ichi Solo still win the duels anyway. Reckoning right now out of desperation, a little too early on. Mid Matters will get the takedown, but it still buys time here, and the stun connects onto Mid Matters. Still doesn't care though. Shot is perfect. 3v3. SR Nacague looking to make the retake happen, and the Caustic Divide gonna be the call, but is it enough to protect the one on the defuse duty? Joms is there already trying to stick it down. Mid Matters with a 3rd, looking for a 4th. Second Love there with a helping hand, and here comes Aeons, and down he goes. SR Nacague, they already got the halfway defuse, but no one's defusing. They'll get it though. They should get it in the silence here, Black and Blue, and with 2 seconds to spare, they'll get their 2nd round.
Probably went around to give each other fist bumps for the moment before actually committing to the spike. It came down pretty close, but I like the resilience there from SR Nacague. They were able to find the 2 opening picks here, Viper's clan, but still, Mid Mathers, as you said, hit by the Reckoning, but it never reaped what it sowed. He just stayed there and still won those fights on out. The Cosmic Divide giving them that space they needed.
A stun is a suggestion, not a condition. And as he saw it there, Mid Matters just shrugged it off, and from that point on, he was able to build the foundation and especially the wall that SR Nacague needed to win that round. Bladestorm though at the ready now, Walk on Water, looking to set the world on fire one more time. SR Nacague, a lot of confidence after that round. Trailblazer though to play for Viper's Clan. You know that they can still invest a good amount to try and throw for that B side. The Bladestone don't get connection, jumps instead. Has to try and go for the hold himself. Just bring it down. Viper's Clan though, retreating yet again. They don't want to commit as of yet here.
Well, these smokes are going to keep him at bay for the meantime, Viper's Clan. But they have that pit as well to pop. When they do go for the post-plant hold. The Null Commando, when do they time this is the question. Are they going to use it for that retake, or do they use it to stall here for SR Nacague?
Yeah, SR Nacague, at the very least. They get a really good suppress. They can break the momentum and the plans here of Viper's Clan, but no suppression this time as Yanagi will fall after he gets one. Aggression from Joms, gets the ping, and now the ding onto two! Great haunt and great shot! It's Joms right now with the intel and the takedowns. SR Nacague able to still keep the line held, forcing Viper's Clan to slowly assess into the site and just die to these slow peaks anyway. West right now, the only one left to fight in the 1v2 scenario. Walk on Water behind the pillar, and the flag from Mid Matters. It's only a matter of time here for SR Nacague to get in position. West, will we see it coming? Absolutely not. And SR Nacague eventually win the round.
Well, West is best, but in this case, just a bit too difficult for him to deal with in that cross, as he was kind of circulated there. And the push here coming from Viper's Clan, really the big stifling moment there is partly that haunt that you see come in from SR Nacague. And because of the amount of utility they have to throw in terms of initiating and gathering information, it's Viper's Clan who has to play a bit more blind, much to their own design.
And we talked about what they have and what they do not have. We mentioned double controller. It allows you to build a battlefield the way you like, but since they only have the sky for soft intel, as you usually mention, how do they really understand where SR Nacague is stationed? And on the other side, you have the KO, you have the Fade, and they can just find some certain angles that they can detect so much presence here for SR Nacague. It's an advantage that SR Nacague is pushing because the Viper's Clan gets hesitant after realizing there's presence on site.
It's perfect too, the fact that they have this KO to, really help them on out and find that information through these smokes, get some of those maybe walls taken on down, especially on the Viper. You can't drop the high tide, but you can drop that toxic screen at the very least, and that can help them out in any case when they do pop those suppresses.
Well, as of now though, can SR Nacague tie up the scoreline? It's kind of the same script we've seen from before. Viper's Clan, they get off to some good momentum at the start of the game, but the adjustments here from SR Nacague and the way that they're able to optimize utility and the agents that they have has been paramount to their success.
And that success here, in terms of intricacy for Viper's Clan at the very least, is, as we said, kind of been their brand coming into this, seemingly so. Do not want to go with the easy option and have some choices to play here. The B side quickly taken without much of a fuss. And while there is utility, it's not going to be the ones that they need at the moment.
I'm liking for this game though, there's a lot more complexity between these two teams than you'd expect, and especially from the Open Qualifiers themselves. So as of stands, might be a battle of the brains here. Prowler trying to confirm his presence towards mid, but you also saw Aeons just backing on away, and now he's gonna look for the push himself. Nightfall though, the call. This does flush out the side of Viper's Clan from the site. And SR Nacague needs to protect it from the long range. There you have it. Walk on Water, special delivery towards Cesaro. Westo holding close, and it's Izzy Solo on the board as well. 3 for 3 right now. They're coming in from the link though with Aeons, but the defuse already is done by Nacague. Behind them, Aeons tries to strike, but Yanagi is there to wrap it up. And while Viper survives with one, it's not the round they wanted.
They just stick it, but it's not, as you said, it didn't turn out the way that they wanted. They had some snake bites, which they threw out earlier on, and even though they had that Viper's Pit for the post-plant, they didn't use it, they didn't commit it, and that could have been their saving grace for that retake. Nothing really being popped here, and as you can see, the small gaps in those smokes of the Astra, they don't cover it as thoroughly as maybe a Viper's Pit might, and it makes it just so much more difficult, even though it was planned for long.
And Also, you saw Jomps there playing towards Link. He was able to buy so much time for the side of SR Nacague there at the tail end. Allow the defuse to happen. That front-heavy approach from Walk on Water also putting such a big stop to the first defenders of the spike. Jomps, though, a different plan now. He has the judge in hand. Gravity Well, though, just keeping the Seekers in check. And eventually, the auto shotty will hit its marker. Viper's plan, though, punishing back. Walk on Water and Jomps do fall. Yanagi keeps control of main. And there's much more ambition right now from SR Nacague. They're vying for positions Vipers wanted.
Well, Viper's clan here, those early contact they made, the judge being the real hurdle, the real stomping ground that sent them flying back for SR Nacague. And because of that, that judge was just a bit too, I guess, threatening for them to continue on forward. They fall on back, the A site, they're like, okay, let's try and hit this again, but from a different angle.
I can't believe Midmatters got so much value from one Gravity Well, though. He caught the Seekers, and that kept the judge player alive for a lot longer than expected.
Of course, that's Mid Matters.
Yeah, Mid Astra Matters. There you go. We'll give him another name in his long IGN. And speaking of, Astra smoking the way. West will try to wait into it, and the timing is perfect for Mid Matters. It's the guiding light out, not the gun. And Mid Matters will just gun them down instead. 2 for him. Unless we get Ichi Solo making happen, it's gonna be the round for SR Nacague, and Mid Matters will secure it. 5-4. The lead shifts back in favor of SR.
More and more for Mid Matters. SR Nacague. This is what you're talking about, Dak. Same thing in Icebox. Early game. Really good start. Almost seems like a shock to Nacague, but they're able to start really well here, Viper's clan. But when the adjustments do come, somewhat through that first half, near the end of it, that's when SR Nacague looked their best, and then we just haven't been able to see that retaliation from Viper's clan during map number 1. And that's why I was saying a while ago, I'm curious if Vipers are going to have more in the book here.
Yeah, because they have such a strong first chapter, that's for sure, with the initial setup that they have. But apparently the pen is given to Mid Matters and SR Nacague down the line. Ghostwriters, and they've written how these past few rounds have really gone down, how they vied for main, how they vie for control towards art. It just seems like SR Nacague this time around, with more confidence, they're really breaking the plans here of Viper's clan.
Well, the plans for Viper's clan hasn't necessarily been too diverse either. They do have this wall towards B. You can see it keeps the defense there quite a bit, and this is by far one of the more, I guess, unexpected rounds that Nacague have to deal with in terms of facing against Viper's clan, because we haven't seen this too often. But this is what I do like about Vipers. The fact that their composition allows us, gives them a bit more to throw into the faces of Nacague.
Oh, and there you have it, in your face, says Shintaro. Yanagi falls, and a big commitment from Viper's clan just to get the ball rolling back. They pop the pit, they pop the reckoning, and it allows Shintaro to play towards Secret and Flowers. In case in point, he's ready now for Walk on Water, and he'll find the takedown anyway. Perhaps a trade there from Mid Matters doesn't happen. Ichi Solo covering fire, and hits a stellar shot too. The Viper's clan this time, the execution looking sublime. Second Love, though, looking to punish the back of the side, and he gets 2 for his troubles as well. Headshots connect, and now the Viper Spit is the biggest obstacle here for SR Nacague. Jumps wading into the waters, and he's able to drown out Aeons instead. Burger, though, fights back, and Viper's clan is able to hold it down, but SR Nacague making their opponent's heart pulse there.
Wow, Burger Nader. He's able to get it going, and what a bite he's able to provide in that last situation. But you see here, the retake a lot of times, always formidable for Nacague. They're just really fortunate that with that early, I guess, pressure made by the Viper's Pit on the post plant, it allowed here Vipers to really allow themselves a lot more comfort in the end.
Yeah, it looked to be such a sure round for Viper's clan, but SR Nacague, they find ways to at least get in the way of it. In the end, though, with the advantage and with their power positions, you can see again the discipline from Viper's clan helping them out on the execution. But SR Nacague taking the fight towards Viper's clan. Will you fight? Will you die? It's such an interesting conundrum right now. The Viper's clan, they're so tempted to peek this, but yet again, par for the course to their character, they back on away and look to regroup.
Well, that's good discipline, even with the temptation at hand. Recognizing there's a bit too much for them to deal with, a bit too much to chew. They pull back instead, wait for a reaction from this Nacague squad. The flank, we can see it already coming here for Mid Matters. And they drone. Oh no, they don't. I thought the Trailblazer would have cleared them out, but It goes towards mid. They're unaware.
Yeah, over by Restaurant. Mid Matters is, I believe, just waiting things out. Never mind, the Guiding Light will expose his intentions. And this gives Viper's Clan the intel that they need to re-aggress towards B. But you mentioned it, and I literally said it right before it happened. It's a matter of discipline here for Viper's Clan, and they're proving to us that it's all about the execution. That's what's important for them. It's not about ego. They gotta deal with the lockdown, Joe, as they move towards B.
The plant goes down, but Walk on War, he can deny this, and that he does. Backs on off safely, and the lockdown's going to keep him at bay for the meantime.
How many people are going to get detained, though? That's the question. Wes, your hands are up. The Cosmic Bite is there, too. And that's Nacague. Eventually, sure, they saved the life of the Sky, but they are stalling so much time, and they're all prepared now on the other side of this wall. The Steez is even better, so Guiding Light going to be the call, and Viper's Clan do fight one back, but SR Nacague are just playing with this border. They're controlling the field, and they control the time. In the end, they'll still take the round anyway.
I'm surprised they were even able to retrieve that spike in that bout before bailing out. But that's part of the reason why he got detained, wasn't it? And now Nacague, once more, they hold on to that lead near the end of the half. This is looking pretty similar to Icebox.
Yeah, it's like Nacague, they were tested on their discipline. They played the aggression, but they realized where they could get away with antics. Walk on water on the inside of hulls. Viper's Clan, it's just that veil of uncertainty there, Black and Blue. If you only have the Sky, how do you know someone's there behind your smokes? And if SR Nacague is willing to risk it, they're the best team right now in this open qualifier that can do so.
You don't know. And that's a problem from Vipers. They're always, not always, but much more so less aware than the Nacague are a lot of times because of the comp.
They're always kept guessing. And you can see that they were very secure about that A side, but they just didn't have enough for the B side instead. And now it's gonna be Shintaro who said enough is enough. Let's just play the entry. Jump slows, falls. We go again towards the middle of the map. Second love prepared here by Link. Duels against Burger, but loses. Had a chance. The Viper's Clan instead will punish his misdeeds. And in the end, it's the B side now looking to be taken with the lockdown in tow 2.
Yeah, awkward moment. But that B side should be Vipers for the taking. 3v5. Not out of the question for Nacague. Especially if they can get an early pick. And if Walk on War's flank works.
Yeah, Blades out, and Aeons is there at the waiting. Viper's Clan now punishing SR Nacague and losing out in these duels. It's Mid Matters and Yanagi versus the world. They understand who's on site now, and they go for the low command too. Slowly but surely trying to beat things out. Ichi Solo already shutting down the KO from below. And with Matters, only one left. It's just effectively a 1v5. We've asked a lot for him. This is not going to be enough this time. 6-6, a flawless ending there for Viper's Clan to tie up the half.
Right there.
Goes to show though for Viper's Clan, the recovery is still there, ladies and gentlemen. And as you can see, that if they can get their plan going, they can get so much of the map. It's some stellar execution when they feel so secure. Only problem, we saw from SR Nacague that they would throw uncertainty again and again against their opponents, and they would exploit angles that were left unchecked there by Viper's Clan.
Well, at least it doesn't go 7-5 in this case, right? Maybe, perhaps, cope for Vipers. But the real answer here is that Viper's Clan just... You can see that there are moments of brilliance here for them. And they know how to play these individual moments pretty well. And they have a general idea on what to do. It just doesn't always come into effect. So maybe they can extend this into map 3 if they can keep up the pace that they saw on this last round.
Oh, but the pace is already in their faces. And here comes Walk on Water just to die. Viper's Clan, they're able to hold back down towards the A side. They were scared off by the utility and the intel. But they're rewarded by punishing the aggression and shutting down the push there from SR Nacague. So rethink, retool. SR Nacague need to reset here.
They slow down. Waiting here, Viper's Clan, for another reaction from Nacague, who love to re-hit the site more often than not. And because of that, the art, it's given away. Second Love, though, finds that kill. Huge he is able to get.
Yeah, if you stay too long against SR Nacague, they will whittle you down eventually. Now then, Mid Matters alongside Jump. need to clear out the site, but West better angle towards dugout, digging in, getting those takedowns. Shintaro moving forward too, and the retake is on here from Viper's Clan. Keep an eye out though of Mid Matters. Never mind, he's taken down by Burger. All left now. 2 to KO of Yanagi in a 1v3. Frenzy in the backside, but West has his sights on him. And it's 7-6, the pistol 1 here by Viper's Clan.
Jeez, mate.
Okay, nicely done from Vipers once more. Holding on to that defense, and the fact that they were able to get the opening pick really sent Nacague into an awkward situation where they thought they would have the site, but then it just doesn't turn on out. They went for that art push, but you can see their Vipers, they were aware, they were ready for it, they were even holding for that possibility.
And the fact of the matter is that the Viper's Clan, they were able to get away with their lives early on and pull SR Nacague in. If SR Nacague is a bit too ambitious in those instances, that's where the double controller and of course with Burger on that Killjoy, it's a lot of utility right now that Viper's Clan can use to cut off anyone from helping out the front line. So we'll see if that can happen yet again. With the Harbor into play, you can throw out these walls early towards mid. And right now, it's just pressure and presence being implied here by Viper's Clan.
Yeah, that pressure is something you cannot count out. Not with a double controller, especially with a double wall controller in the Harbor and Viper in this case on the defensive side. As you said, so many walls to throw out constantly. Just having something in your face as the attacking side of Nacague is a lot of mental strain. And also, as we see, the angles they like to hold, those are cut up and diced because of it.
And there you have it now. Chef's cooking with the Killjoy. The utility to at least stall out the push from Art. Burger, though, and Itchy Solo both prepared now for these swings. This is going to be the haunt thrown here by Joms to begin with. But the only eye we're seeing here is the marker made by Itchy Solo. Takedown now by Viper's Clan yet again. Strong beginning as they're trying to slow down Nacague as they move towards the site here.
They do like to play this slow style anyways. Neon gets a pick there and walk on wire. Was looking to walk on towards the site. Splitting it once more, much akin to that opening pistol. And in similar ways, also unsuccessful in it.
Yeah, Viper's Clan is just holding things down. The guards here, they're keeping this A site firmly in check. And that's our Nacague. They're gonna need to just rush on in and effectively die by this point. Knife gets broken. And Nagi in mid matters. What do you even do against Aeons? Absolutely nothing. A 4K for the Viper. And the Viper's Clan lives on to fight another tale.
Release the tension.
And there once more. Those walls in their face, the pressure that applies. It's so difficult to deal with. They constantly have that uptime with the Poison Orb and with those Cascades and with the High Tide as well. Always cutting off those sightlines, and Nacague, they want to wait for those opportunities to hit the site right, but Viper, they're just not giving them much of a window at all.
Yeah, a matter of timing and a matter of information withheld. SR Nacague, if they're gonna go for the execute, they need to be sure that these are sites that they can take. Bonus round though for the defense, and they're just gonna go gung-ho towards the middle. Second Love though, holding it down, and hello there! Second Love! Danger close with Burger. The flash was full, and now Second Love is just greedy with these kills. A 4K. Give him the ace. Why don't you, Aeons? Let's see. But this is already SR Nacague navigating towards the site here.
Arguably one of the more awkward ace attempts we've seen in this stage so far. Let's see if they give it to him. I mean, he has a good chance right here. Aeons is not looking the right way. The ace.
Yes. There you go. Second Love. First one to frag out in this round. And well done. You can see for Second Love, he has that same mentality as Walker Water. They expect the aggression. They're in a good position to fight it. And case in point, he's just able to whittle them down. That was a full flash, by the way. Both
One enemy remaining.
of them they're able to keep so many rifles because of it. They're black and blue. And now Viper's Clan will try to do the same.
Here.
When he got 15, it's Second Love. We seem to be mean. Lockdown available for him to take this site up. Got some utility to defend it back. They're giving up this B-Link control. Luckily for them, for Viper's Clan, the Nacague aren't really looking to utilize that for their push here, because that could have been a big contention point in pincer position.
Yeah, with Nacague, because of the kills of Second Love, they have so much to work with. Because of it, lockdown to start things off. Null command ready also later on. Do have Viper's Clan trying to play the flank, but this is such a big B presence here from Nacague all the way towards Halls even.
Retake to come on in. Suppress going to make it even more difficult. You have a Cascade going for them, and that's the only piece of utility you're going to have for a while, so they want to try and tap this spike, burn as much as they can. The Nano's not even perfectly on it, but they do have a fragment on the retake here. The flank coming on in. Is this as effective as they think? No, it's not. 1v1. The fight still goes his way.
And Second Love just whittling down that cove. Itchy Solo getting halfway done with it. Decides to swing on now, peek the opposition. Cascade now to throw yet again, providing cover and providing space for the defuse to come online. Second Love will win out the fight, sure, but Viper's Clan will win the round anyway.
And that is the value of having just so many walls to throw up in your face. The lack of information against a composition that is all about gathering information here on the side of Nacague. And I'm surprised that even with the initial fights going their way, absolutely traded out on every single member to bring it down to a 1v1.
Yeah, well done there by Viper's Clan. They were also hit by the suppress on both sides of their flank, their black and blue, because Yanagi was in such a good position to keep the utility away. In the end, though, you mentioned it, the frags came online for Viper's Clan. The control was there. You love it to see with the Harbor at the very end because of the Cove and Cascade presence. It was enough to just get the defuse going, and Nacague now trying yet again. B site gonna be their call. Aeon's looking to try and hold things down. Burger 2, and speaking of, he gets one. Reckoning now gonna be the answer from Itchy Solo, but Action PH, or rather Nacague, will get the punish. Change your Yining Minagi. It's 4v3 though.
Wrong tag there, buddy, but for the meantime, cannot be wrong in their attempt for this take. They have the man count advantage. There also is the Seekers here online for Vipers. If they get another pick, they can find out absolutely where they are, and that is a signal to pop it.
Yeah, no action now for Yanagi. It leads to a 3v3. Here we go, though. A bit of intel provided here, courtesy of West, and Nacague. They're just trying to find a small opening to put that spike down. Nano Swarm, though, already spotted up by Shintaro. Seems like Nacague knows that there's Heaven's presence, but look at Mid Matters go. Here he goes again, black and blue, on the lurk, on the flank, and on the long rotate, if ever.
But you can see that they're somewhat aware of this. West has re-aggressed now to look towards that back flank, but not anymore. And they have so much more time to waste here, so much more time to play. And he gets a good pick as well. That could be it.
Perfect timing here from Second Love. They needed that one to keep all the attention facing front. And Mid matters. He's here, and he will do it yet again. Mid will matter again and again. And with some marksmanship at the end, it's just another round for Nacague.
Really smart here by Nacague to wait out a bit, then send Mid Matters on that flank. Perfect timing too, because we did see Wes kind of check and clear out their flank, but once he did let it go, that's about the right time when Mid Matters went for it and just made things so much more clean here for SR Nacague, who are keeping in the fight, and they forced Vipers into an eco.
Yeah, if you look at the definition of a flank, you're gonna see a picture of Mid Matters there, basically. Look it up. This is 100% true. Still, though, Viper's Clan, they have a bit of a lead still. They have the advantage, at least on the scoreline. But this is the perfect chance here for SR Nacague to make a play with the Cosmic Divide yet again. Looking to move towards ramp. They want to hit that B site. Keeping an eye out also. Second Love yet again. Watching the flank. There's the Dissipate for the cross. And Viper's Clan will take notice.
Well, luckily for Viper's Clan, because of their composition, they can cut up these sight lines and play close to those smokes, because they have that harbor as well to aid them in pursuit. They're all stacked here towards the B site, so they've gambled on the right choice.
Yeah, right read, but lesser on the gun power here. We do get the Suppresso coming their way. Walk on water now, navigating through the screen itself. Cloudburst towards the main angle, and Viper's Clan just holding information. Eventually, though, Shintaro will take down Burger, also using the classic too, but the back halls is the presence here. That the side of SR Nacague needs. The knives do not connect, and Burger will fall at the very end. They're spilling blood, and they will take the site. It will be a tight scoreline now.
Hey, good attempt, though, from Viper's Clan to be able to do that much damage with little really invested. They only had to burn the blades. Aside from that, a bunch of classics, and they still get a bunch of kills going their way. So timeout here called by Vipers. I think at better time as well, in a much more winnable round, in a much more winnable state of the map. They do not want to go down 2-0 to get eliminated.
Viper's Clan are proving that they can fight despite the gun disparity. But you can see moments here made by SR Nacague with their activity, with Walk on Water pushing that deep towards halls. And as it stands, there's just the strengths right now of these two teams do come online so apparently. SR Nacague, when the going gets tough, they have a veteran in mid matters that can just change the pace and the angles for Nacague. On the other side, Viper's plan is sound. Utility usage absolutely on point, so much better compared to what we saw on that first map. But will it be enough to get this map away from SR Nacague and force a decider?
Well, we're gonna have to find out for ourselves, aren't we? Suppress up online for Nacague, and that Cosmic Divide. And if Viper's Clan want to play this style, where they have these walls to throw on up, ones you can't see through, well, Nacague, you got one you can't shoot through.
Well, we'll see though who's gonna do the shooting now. 3 ultimates available here for SR Nacague, and I'd love to see what they can do also if they can put Yanagi a little bit more forward alongside Walk on Water. How much value can they get with the suppress? But Wes, now he knows the guiding light, gives the call towards the club. But SR Nacague, they're there around that area.
Well, it's still information. Do they know how many exactly from this SR Nacague attack are prepared? You can see him prepping another flash. With that information given, he doesn't need to gather anymore. Okay, he flashes, but like, what's the point? Just confirms that they're there.
Yeah, that's the thing. Now they don't have the flashes to utilize for the round. The Trailblazer is available though, if ever. Suppresso thrown, clearing out the back holes, confirming that presence in Itchy solo. Breaking the Prowler just in time, at least keeping him alive as he moves over to the other side of the Cosmic Divide. Pulses do come though, and in silence, SR Nacague get the objective done. They're also trying to place a little bit more forward. Jumps and Walk on Water, setting up effectively a crossfire, but they back away and play for long instead.
But you see how they're forced to use those guiding lights for that information because they have no other way of gathering information itself. And that's one of their only pieces of initiating utility. This lockdown, oh, plus the code. This could be crucial. They get the denial though off of it.
The spam is perfect there from Yanagi. They know exactly where it is, and you said it. The pull, the gravity well, keeping things in check for SR Nacague's favor. You can feel the weight of the world on the shoulders here for Viper's Clan. They need to desperately get these takedowns, but it's all of SR Nacague gazing at them from afar. A spectator sport, sure, but in the end, it will be the execution here for SR Nacague to get the round. Activity now activated for the double up.
They are so stable. Consistently keep themselves in the fight, in the game, in the matchup. And they're once again, for like what, the third, fourth time in this matchup alone, able to take the lead back.
They're now at double digits just because of how they control the area around the spike. They realize that we can imply presence early on, back on away still anyway, and just use things like the Astras, Stars, throw down whatever they can in terms of the pings, break the cove as soon as possible, and call it a day. So well done here by SR Nacague, taking that lead. And they keep it though, that's the question.
They've taken the lead, so have made Vipers bleed. And now it seems like the Vipers Clan, they're just stuck in this never-ending loop of having to guess where Nacague are going because of their lack of gathering, information gathering tools. And you see them stacked around site, they don't have the right read on this. They eventually find out by Nacague coming towards B because they're loud about it, but if they had that premonition, if they had that early information to be gathered, this could be a very different round, but let's see how it turns out.
Well, Viper's Clan, though, they're already putting more pressure and more presence. This time, it's a bit better since they're stacked up correctly. And will SR Nacague realize the situation? Thrown out the suppress yet again. Look to confirm if anyone's towards Hall. They have to check it now. Walk on Water pushing forward. Fragment thrown here by Yanagi. Someone, though, in such a rash position. Burger looking for opportunity.
Denied.
And here we go yet again. Denies the plant, but the damage is still done here by SR Nacague. 3 already on the board. Make that 4. And the wipeout is clear at SR Nacague, who's able to surf down and get those takedowns. 11-9 here.
Yeah, quick rundown of the opposition here, SR Nacague. And they have that Nightfall coming into this round. The operator here from Burger is going to absolutely be, has to be, the castle that they continue this half upon. Good denial there by Burger, but ultimately the deficit. This is where we see late in the game, Vipers struggle to get themselves back into it. They've burned their time out, so no more moments to talk things over.
And we see it from SR Nacague, their adaptation into these kind of rounds. Realize what the game plan of Viper's Clan is and exploit the weaknesses that they have seen. Sometimes though, when you have such a sound game plan, you don't think about what else is there to come, and it's such an interesting evolution. We always talk about SR Nacague to be the team that struggled to play outside of their comfort zone, play outside of their strategies, and right now, they're the ones trying to teach that lesson to Viper's Clan instead.
They have to win this round. Otherwise, bad economic state once more. They know this mid-art push is coming. They force him back there, Wes. Try and gain more control of this site. Nightfall comes on in. You can see Aeon's trapped within here. He has to get the one. He does, but he drops. Wes, good trade he gets.
Oh, how can he not know that they're behind him though from the link area? Eventually, Wes will do some damage, and Shintaro will get the kill over onto Chomps. 4v2 scenario, mid matters, the only one left standing here. And the Viper's Clan, they find the opportunity. They went for the chase down into the takedowns, but mid matters. He's clutched things out before. Can he do so one more time? Tries to isolate against Shintaro, gets that kill there. Mid matters almost does it, but Burger, you called to action the operator, and he will deliver at the end. Viper's Clan, they survive with the op and survive the storm that is SR Nacague.
Well, survive the storm? Perhaps not. But simply persevere, I think, is the most important thing. They barely make it on through. As a hail, the natural force that is Mid-Mathers came on in. It was really a Viper's round for the most part, but somehow able to sweep them away from it almost at the end. But here comes on in now. Viper's Clan, they bought the lifeline they needed. As I said, losing that round would have been a disaster for their economy, but they keep the ship floating.
Yeah, it's stormy weather still, though. That's the truth. And at least Viper's Clan, they have a hope. They have a lifeline to build on with the op. And you can see that Burger, he's going to be playing such a long angle towards Halls. If anyone slow peeks this, they're just dead to rights. Burger, can he do it correctly? That's the thing. It's going to be a full smoke. It's actually just a dissipate, and because of it, Burger finds the timing towards Yanagi. Not the investment that Nacague needed. They go for the Cosmic Divide now. The Prowler, though, gets the connection. Burger is going to be vulnerable here, and Walk on Water desperately trying to get the angle. But Burger! How does he still do it with a shot like that? 3 from Burger! He's just a monster now here! It's up to Mid Matters in a 1v3 yet again, but Viper's Clan, where are these kills coming from?
Well, they're coming at the right time. Let's be known that Burger is not going to let this one go. Not away, not without the fight. In Mid-Mathers, he's going to be sandwiched here. Does he expect a long angle? No, he doesn't. Aeons, they tie up the game 11-11 just when they needed to.
They made a wish on the operator, and it will be a star shining on Burger. You can see the Walk on Water. He knew an up was coming, and he tried his best. He's tried to mobilize. He tried to move just to dissuade the shot, but danger close. Burger just stuck it on him and got the shot going. I do feel, though, just that first smoke, it should have been the full one instead. It was a dissipate. They needed at least a bit more time to cross, and the small window of opportunity. Viper's Clan get ahead with it and tie up the scoreline.
Those windows that they just don't give up, not without a fight. Viper's Clan know when to swing it wide open, but know when to close it in the face of Nacague as well. And because of the amount of utility they have to really create uncomfortability for Nacague, it's been just something they haven't been able to deal with, not at least in any sort of positive capacity for Nakage's attack.
Yeah, well, then again, Burger here getting back in position. Wants to keep an eye out towards that link area, or Walk on Water might look for a bit of revenge. He's just holding on to the angle now, but the op is still deadly here, and Walk on Water, he's crawling. Finds the opportunity. Here's the running rather away from the Killjoy. Still though, SR Nacague, this is just a distraction plan if ever. They want to call attention towards that B site, execute from the art area instead, and look for the timing there.
Distraction, maybe tilt their heads towards either side. Keep Nacague. Maybe they can keep Vipers here guessing, but they have somewhat of a right read. Burger almost connects the shot.
Do we get to reinvest on the Cloud Burst now? Really put so much weight on the shoulders here of Burger.
Whoa.
But then again, Second Love now crawling towards the spawn. finds the dip towards West. Shintaro now might be vulnerable here as Yanagi moves towards the side. And that's Nacague just causing enough chaos on the other side of the map to call different attentions and buy the space that they need. Shintaro though hit by the seas, cornered now, and then low command gonna be the call here. Second Love still in the waters, finds Burger. Now the Vipers clan need to react towards that, but Jobs is crawling, Jobs is moving, and the Secret's out. He's ready there towards Secret itself. Shintaro falls, it's 5v2, and the maneuverability here from SR Nacague is making it more decisive in their favor.
Yeah, and they tampered with the expectations here, really, of Vipers clan. And for Nacague too, the fact that Walk On Wire made that contact there towards that link, you can see the defense. They were pulled towards that B site and caught in transition. Ishilo, he gets a kill, but this round is done. They're able, maybe they can save the op, which is their big point of this, to give him a fighting chance for overtime, but nicely played from Nacague, much akin to what we've come accustomed to in the past from them.
Yeah, that's classic SR Nacague play. Cause chaos on one side and use it to push on the other. Usually, it's a player like Mid Matters who does that. But now you have not just one, but two pupils of the same study. Walk on Water as well as Second Love. Walk on Water was a big distraction towards Link, yes. But the fact that Second Love was an overarching presence towards Spawn, he was able to get some very much needed kills to put SR Nacague on series point.
Just when they needed to, he delivers.
Recovering it.
And that's certainly much what we expect of a player of his caliber. He came on from that Pugger squad, Walk On Wire in the past, now in Nacague. He's fitting in pretty well. Oh, information gathered here by West towards that A main. But you can see now, because of the fake outs last round, they're a lot more wary of rotating early.
And here we go again. The Guiding Lights have to be committed early on too, just to garner that intel. SR Nacague though, heavy presence towards main and mid itself. Looking to mobilize towards Art. The Vipers clan in the meantime, seems like they're just trying to apply more pressure towards mid too. That they throw a cascade from Link, might force Nacague to check out Art in a safe manner. In the end though, it's still SR Nacague looking to make their A-split approach work.
Well, they have utility to stop this. They got the Reckoning, the Lockdown, and the Viper's Pit. All very high impact, and all could be a big problem for Nacague on this attacking execute. But look at this! Walk On Water, the double for him! He drops that Viper's Pit potential!
He doesn't care about the turning tides, and Itchy solo, he at least gets a takedown, and the detain comes towards Second Love, so this buys time here for the side of Vipers clan. 3v3 scenario effectively while Second Love is disarmed, and it's gonna be Nagi on the plant. Mid Matters though with the big pick, as you mentioned. Backside still held here by the side of Vipers clan, but these snakes have been spotted, and they will be taken down by SR Nacague. 30-11, Pearl and the series are theirs. SR Nacague return to the season.
What a game. What a recovery from SR Nacague. And much akin to what we saw from map number 1. It's Vipers clan starting off really strong, but it's the adjustments counterproductively towards the opposing side done by Nacague that stops really a lot of the intent here from Vipers. To be fair, they did a lot better this time on map number 2, and we saw some great things from the entire team as a whole. But it's the more experienced, the more veterancy that we do see from SR Nacague, led by players like Second Love and Mid Matters, that prevail.
Yeah, Second Love, just the first one on the scoreboard, and he was absolutely impactful all throughout that game. Stellar kills from holding down the bonus round, rather, or just getting that ace effectively. Him able to wade through, make it towards the CT side. Those are the moments that you realize that the Puggers team wasn't just a one-man show. Second Love was there for good reason. He's still here now for good reason. They were a dynamic duo alongside each other, and it's just been such a good staging ground that SR Nacague is able to build on. There's so much talent right now with all their new additions. As it stands, it's a different look for SR Nacague, sure, but it's exactly what they need after getting exposed in a way in the last time around in Split 1.
Yeah, it might be a different look, but I think it's one I like. I think it's one that sticks, not just a trend for the summer season, but one that could last them quite a while. If it can continue some of the performances of what we saw here today, And you can see definitely there's some growing pains with this roster. There's some growing pains with this squad. Some things that they definitely have to learn and mold into and adjust, but those can come with time. And if you give this team some time, who knows where they might end.
And they have mature voices both in the roster and in the supporting structure to do so. You have to remember, Mid is still here and he's been just so clutch every single damn time. You have Maxi still as their coach, so he can provide that kind of extra voice for the team. And all in all, there's so much talent right now on this squad. Seems fitting at the end that Walk on Water doesn't care about things like the Reckoning, as he is able to play to his own namesake and deliver that win with Grab Unlimited as well. Well done there by SR Nacague. A roster formed and forged from Split 1. They're ready now for Split 2.
I remember you talked about that coaching staff in the past for SR Nacague. There are moments where they even kind of had to slot in Maxi for whatever reason, but now he can actually be a coach and let the players play on the field, and they've got some exemplary players to do so. So congrats to this squad for making it into the regular season. We're going to get SR Nacague back into it, but our next series is going to decide who finally will be the last, I guess, team to qualify into it.
Yeah, it got very hot there by the tail end, and thank God the sun is gone because we still have such a scorcher for our second series. This one is going to be a treat here, ladies and gentlemen. That will be the side of Boss G KDM versus ZOL Esports. We talked about the other half of that SR Nacague squad from before. They're going to be there with some new faces, perhaps, that are familiar to some, playing on the Boss G KDM side. I can't wait for that one, but for now, we'll sign on that and take a break. When we return, it will be series number 2. Don't go away.
Esports, majority of the players competed literally split one from SR Nacague. And the biggest difference is, I'll intro it with, the biggest difference is most of these players were invited last time and therefore were not in this spot where there's only one slot left. No. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. I can. So I'll go ZOL into Kadaliman and I'll let you work your nerd magic. Okay. Okay.
Ibn Ab.
And welcome everybody to VCT Philippines Split 2, and we're currently still in our Open Qualifiers. Imagine there's only one slot left to join the rest of the gang for the group stage. We'll be your casters for today. I am Riku. Joining me is Black and Blue. And of course, before we get on over to all of the formalities, how are you today, BNB? I know you casted the previous match, but I want to ask you again.
BNB, I am Fluffy 2.0.
Oh,
As of the moment, I'll be taking that on in. And in that respect, we are looking very fluffy here today.
I know.
Very beige, very, light
comfortable.
in color scheme. Yes, obviously it's hot outside, so you want to wear a bit more reflecting colors. But as for your question, I am doing fantastic. We saw a great series a while ago where we saw SR Nacague push through. But speaking of that brand, we've got some familiar faces from that former team.
Yeah, I like how you just you brought that up because yes, we have a very important match between ZOL Esports and Kadaliman. Very, it's going to be incredibly exciting because I feel like this matchup is going to be close. But let's dig deeper on some of these teams. First up, we've got ZOL Esports. When we look at their roster, a lot of familiar faces, especially majority of the players consists of players that competed literally at the previous split. Under the banner of SR Nacague. And now they're representing a different brand. Now they have another shot at it for Split 2. But the biggest difference is they used to be, they were directly invited from SR Nacague, but this time around they have to go through this gauntlet.
Oh yeah, for sure. So they haven't really been in this position, but you guys should be in an even better position to get yourself some goodies with Grab Unlimited. Celebrate great wins with great food and enjoy free delivery every day. Subscribe to Grab Unlimited now for free on your first month. I've tried it and I'm a believer. I attest to it. They also kind of have this thing going on that if you kind of activate the quest in Grab Unlimited, you could win some tickets to VPL Korea. That's a thing too. So
that's so cool. Oh my gosh, that's so cool! You get a snack and you get a chance to witness.
To watch some snacks.
Yeah, to watch some snacks. Anyway, going back to the match, yeah, ZOL Esports, we talked about them and their experience from Split 1, but on the other hand, Kadaliman, they're not the only team that has a lot of experience to bring on the board.
Yeah, especially if you look at things here, like arguably more experience is on the side of ZOL, and they're from that former brand of SR Nacague, as we said. Now with Josh F. Oops, my microphone was in my way. But there was certainly lots of things to be sought on here. But if you want to talk about experience, obviously coaching-wise, there is experience on Kadaliman's side as well. We know Dispenser, yes, of Secret fame in the past. And he might even be, one of the big things that really get them across the hump in terms of making those mid-round decisions and mid-game choices. But opening bans and vetoes here, we're looking at Fracture to start things off. ZOL take that out of the board instantly here. The last times we did see them play Fracture was quite a bit ago last year, so we don't really have much information officially on that. But I would wager that maybe for them being a bit newer as a team, especially looking at how that old SR Nacague were not necessarily the most comfortable on Fracture, it makes sense why they take it out.
Yeah, I think that's the biggest difference when we look at this matchup. There's, on the other hand, players that freshly competed in VCT. Meanwhile, there's this newly assembled roster and we look at Kadiliman. So it's going to be very exciting to see, especially Split, one of the maps that we haven't really exactly seen too much when we look back at Split 1. So this is absolutely exciting to see here at the Open Qualifiers.
Yeah, I love to see it this time on around here. You're looking at really this team that, when you kind of break things down right, what really is the essence of a team like Kadiliman early on, the brand at the very least, it might not have all these same players barring Narpin, but the brand Split 1 during stage 1, year number 1, this was one of where their hallmarks were made. You used to have MJ on that team, and he made it popularized to have that raise on the map here like Split. So maybe, as akin to what the Kadiliman brand is all about, maybe they can regain some of that former glory, some of that former success here on the map that started it all.
Yeah, and it's so exciting to see that it's going to be our first map when it comes to this BO3 series. Again, there's only one team that is able to make join the rest of the 4 from the Open Qualifiers into the group stages. So yeah, you're right. It's going to be one of those things where, yes, it's an old brand, but what kind of stories when it comes to signature picks will they want to return? Some of the iconic picks, or will they set a new story here, especially that this BO3 is absolutely critical?
Well, we're going at Haven for map number 2, and the story there is the return really to a map that we didn't see be too effective yesterday here with Kadiliman going up against Rambutan ni Tatay.
Yeah.
It ended at 4-13, and it was a pretty one-way sided show there on Haven, and I want to hear you say it just so we have it officially. Who did they not beat?
Rambutan ni Tatay.
Wow, you rolled the R2. Good job.
Yeah, I love it.
Good job. Okay,
Thank you, VME.
We can have you in the Tagalog broadcast now. Let's do it. But Ascent, map number 3. Okay, curious choice for us to get. I'm looking at it right now, and they were able to beat Jopai here, Kadiliman, the last time around. So, good hopes for them at the very least, especially since Haven wasn't a big case to be made in their favor.
Yeah, I feel like it's going to be incredibly crucial for this split map, again, to gain this momentum and gain confidence, considering that you literally just said that Haven is a critical map and critical point for them to win, especially their previous match against, I gotta say it again, Rambutan ni Tatay. Yes, yesterday.
Yes.
Rambutan ni Tatay.
Good job rolling the R.
Thank you very much.
Yes, you're welcome. I don't know why I turned Italian at the end, but that's how we're gonna go do it.
I love it.
So, map number 1. I already forget. What are we doing?
Split!
Yes,
We're doing
I love
split!
Oh, banana.
Banana split.
Yes.
Hopefully no one's gonna trip.
I want ice cream because it's a hot day. It's a hot.
It is very
hot
true.
Day.
It's very true. That's why
41
grab and limited is very important. If you want to get some mango shake or ice cream on the go, yeah, get it. Get it for while watching VCT.
Rambutan.
Or some
Frozen rambutan.
Is there such a thing as rambutan shake?
Probably, right? People make shakes out of everything. People make shakes out of vegetables, meat.
I can't imagine it's gonna be a little bit difficult, right? Because it's like rambutan is kind of like 80% seed and 20% fruit.
What I have learned, if there's a will, there's a way. And
Fair.
Somebody out there is gonna want, I want my damn rambutan shake in the afternoon when it's very warm, and I want my darn game to start because this is the final slot, as we talked about, right? Final chance for teams to get on in with 2 big brands really coming into this. You have that former SR Nacague squad, the team that we were touting to be the best or one of the best coming in the last stage. And I'm not saying your performance was bad, but it wasn't up to par from what we expected. Now, the actual SR Nacague brand made it on through with some new players. Can the former SR Nacague make it through today as well with this new brand on their face?
Yeah, absolutely. I feel like there are different motivations here, especially when we look at ZOL Esports, who, again, coming from Split 1, majority of these players already participated on the previous split. They ended up, SR Nacague rather, ended in 4th place. So of course they want to try another round of Split 2. Of course they want to reach the 1st place. Of course that is the goal right now.
Yeah, and I mean, what other choice is there, right? It will be, it's pass or failure at this point. It's just all the way through or nothing. And for a team with players who have just made a name for themselves throughout that off-season before Split 1 started last year, during the end of 2022, we were looking at that former SR Nacague squad going, these guys are doing quite a bit of work. We saw that during one of the online invitationals rather, for the SEA region in general, and they were the representative for the Philippines to go very deep, to make it into that top 8, and we were looking, these guys can make something work on out. they weren't able to replicate that success in the local scene, and that begged the question, why and what could they do differently? It seems like the option there was to try and put in new pieces and kind of reshuffle the roster, and that's what we got. That's why we saw SR Nacague a while ago with very different names on it, barring Mid Mathers, who was really one of the only few that stuck to that team. But then we go on over now to this ZOL squad, who forgo maybe old brands, try and delve into a very new brand, try and maybe create a new fate for them moving on forward, but still want to regain some success that we saw from them on the off screen. But we're going directly into the agent select split to come on in here, and as I said, from looking at KDM, we haven't seen their split come in as of recent. And look at that name on the cipher, tried and true, no longer a coach but playing here today. Riku, who do I see?
It's Dispenser! Oh my word. This is going to be absolutely interesting because, again, everybody knows Dispenser. Everybody knows his experience from the international scene. And it's one of those things where how much of an impact when it comes to him being this anchor, at least for this series, how well can it go with the experience that he brings to the table?
That is the question, right? And we saw a bit, I guess, lacking here. Growing pains, yes, maybe a bunch of some of them are a bit new from KDM, but it's no excuse to be made, especially when you're in this position where you want to qualify into that regular season. You got Dispenser on in here. I'm not too sure the reason why maybe one of the players couldn't make it here today, but if now's the time for him to slot on in, it's the perfect time when you're in the final qualifying slot here.
Yeah, it's absolutely crucial. It's not a BO5, it's going to be a BO3, so momentum is incredibly important. You don't have a lot of time to adjust. It has to be, it's now or never. You got to get in.
Yeah. You have very little margin for error. We see that happen a while ago. Sometimes a quick 2-0 can come a lot swifter than you might expect in these moments. So maybe he's going to give them a bit of that fresh air, a bit of a different look, and just a bit more, I guess, coherence when it comes into the game. The scramble moments when they're in the mid-round trying to make a decision, maybe he can give them that extra edge, and also just a bit more firepower to go up against this ZOL squad, who we have seen really kind of blend a lot of structure into their gameplay when they were in SR Nacague. We saw that come in for Mid Mathers, to be one of those linchpins to keep them together as a rock, but to try and push away from that. I'm curious to see if ZOL can keep up the same strengths that we saw from them in the past coming into this game.
Yeah, I think that's absolutely a safe assumption to make, where because majority of the players that is in ZOL that came from SR Nacague is tried and tested already, so therefore assuming there's not going to be a lot of adjustments to be made as we head on over to the first map. It's going to be split, and it's a scramble almost immediately as we head on in.
Well, these eggs certainly turned twice on over. As you said, a scramble directly into that A side. KDM, they stand atop. It's actually ZOL on the attacking side. ZOL stand high as they win every gunfight to open up this map.
Here we go, there's Dispenser. Eliminating Senior Carl. Naru with a trade. 4v2 at this point, with ZOL having the numbers advantage. It's still the spike already being planted, so it's all up to Dispenser and the rest. See and clear all of these corners. There's a lot. And it's Naru, the only one left. Can he actually do a 1v2? Dispenser, rather. It's the only one alive, and there you go. First round win goes to ZOL.
Well, swift one to start off the day here, at least for ZOL's sake. Rush on over to the site, and we weren't able to catch that initial opening bout, but oh well, there we go. Thanks for the replay. Directly into that heaven, taking away a big point of contention where you'd see a lot of teams want to swing out from that rafter, and ZOL, they know to remove that option from KDM early.
Yeah, they were basically covering every point and making sure that they secure that spike for themselves. Now heading on over to round 2. See what the approach is going to be, because earlier it was absolute aggression.
And maybe, aggression is part of their game plan now. We saw structure in their former rosters, but this one could be a very different case to be made. The swing on wide. They connect with the fault line. They finally get the kill on Josh F.
And with that,
Spike planted.
The spike now is planted. Interestingly enough, KDM gonna be coming from, this very hard, not hard. Everyone is around this area. Zind Hugging this high corner, ZOL has the advantage at this point.
One enemy remaining.
Well, they know where they are at this point, so no real problem to shut him down. Senior Carl gets to 3, farms a bit of orbs, and they keep the round going. So ZOL, good start here early off, and if they can continue that into a bonus round of theirs, especially since they keep quite a bit of their numbers alive, then this could really be where, ZOL can make their mark, especially on the attacking side, and that's something you always want to have on a map like Split.
Yeah, and I think that's the thing, right? You'd assume that because Cypher is definitely the king of B side on defense for this map in particular. And right now, ZOL is having a fun time with their double initiator, and so far it has been working out for them.
Well, that double ini, we can touch upon it a bit. It gives them just a lot more re-hit power on their attacking side. And executing with that utility they've got is something that KDM, just based on composition, they're going to have to, I guess, kind of rely a lot on those Cypher traps to be the catch. Now, luckily for ZOL, they have the Fade, and those Prowlers can burn through those tripwires early.
Yeah, and that's the adjustment that Dispenser had to make. So far, twice in a row, he has been in B. Cypher is like really effective on that part. But here comes Zind already in. Dispenser finds him. He gets the second. He gets the third. Look at him go. KDM, this is definitely their round.
Good catch there from Dispenser. As you said, he gets a round off of it too. Oh, a bit of a tactical crouch here. Taste my bosom. And they keep it going. 1-2. And KDM off of Dispenser. We see him slotted in now, and he has gotten himself going early.
Yeah, this is just really clean. The way he just crosses that open area, uses the cyber cage really effectively. And again, it was due to that big 50-50 switch. Will they continue onto the A side attack or not?
Well, in this case, as I said, those type of bonus rounds are the ones ZOL could really start to turn this on its heel, but it doesn't come, not just yet. They have that neural theft online already early here for Dispenser, and if they can get a pick off, then the information they gain off of that could be what turns this round their way.
Yeah, it has been much slower now, especially from what happened earlier. But with this, though, with everyone primed and ready on Garage on B, with now Dispenser not having all of his utility to guard this site, this is primed and ready for them to enter. Zind gonna be the first one in for sure. Narpim, unfortunately, sandwich at backside. Yort.
Such a good haunt there we saw throughout Riku.
Yeah.
And Savano, a double for him.
That was really, really good. He's still alive with 25 HP. Savano's right here for that support. And with that said, their backs are against the wall here coming from ZOL. They're pretty much sandwiched, as I just mentioned.
Well, looking to eat him alive. Patman, he isolates the fight, gets the one. Bulldog in hand, could not connect. And his bark is only as loud as his bite could be. Yort at the end sorts it out. They tie up the game 2-2.
I love how we had a burger earlier, and now it's a sandwich.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's time to order and grab some food.
I just did. While waiting for map number 1, I actually did have myself a burger sandwich. Thank you very much for asking.
Awesome! Nice one.
One enemy remaining.
Yeah. You know, there's a pretty hyped YouTuber burger apparently available now if you are in the Manila.
Oh.
Do you know about that?
Oh, I'm not in Manila, unfortunately.
Do you know? His name sounds with Mr. B.
Oh!
That guy. Yeah.
Oh, okay. I think I know. I think I know.
Yes, he's now here. He has burgers here. Anyway, moving on to the game. Stun out towards heaven. Nothing connects though, but they have proper intuition that this is where the hit is coming.
Yeah, Yort slowly backs away. They have to give up space with this onslaught from heaven, just as you said. But Narpin says, peekaboo, I see you.
Oh, hello. It is I, Narpin. But Yort swings wide and he finds everything going his way. Savano chiming in as well with the blades. Senior Carl, a man who's also a myth and a legend in himself. We've seen him during that split one on that ZOL roster with the forefront Cebuano teams, but in this case, he's with a new team under a new brand with some of the same old people. And KDM, they take the lead.
Yeah, they're doing really well after that 0-2 deficit. taking advantage of that buy round that they're able to get, and Narpim getting first blood was absolutely important for that one.
Well, it's important that, you know, for a team like KDM here on the defensive side, they don't let those type of thrifty rounds work for ZOL. Otherwise, the mental could start to take a hit, and we know, especially if you have young players on your team, like some of the players on KDM are, that can really be a big point of contention, but Savano instantly punished here by Zind.
And he's gone. And with that said, A is going to be the target of ZOL at this point. Zind enters the site once more, allowing space for the side of their team. And with this, though, with the smoke, there's a lot of blockers for Channy Boy. It's too risky to push through this.
Yeah, he wants to wait. It could be a risk to take, but at least not one right now. 5 ultimates up for ZOL. They got a lot to throw here to hold on to this post plant.
There's just so much utility. We talked about the double initiator and how the re-hits, and as well as the slow. Are they able to slow down people as Senior Carl gets a double kill? Channy's still... Right, I don't think they have access with in the 4v2 scenario. Josh F is already waiting for this angle. Now that he knows someone is right there, destroyed his alarm bot. Zind pushing very aggressively as he knows where everyone is.
Oh yeah, they're hunting, they're searching, they want it. They want to deny the rifle to be saved. They get Channy Boy down. They know where Yort is, who simply has too much on his plate. And ZOL, it's a complete back and forth as they tie up the game.
It's definitely a swing and a trade of scores as we take a look at the replay. And it all started with Zind getting first blood here. And Senior Carl hugging this position was very pivotal on stopping the retake.
Yeah, they just line up for him. And they didn't even have to use any of the ultimates that they gained in that round. 5 up online. Rifles, still weapons abound here for KDM. They're trying this operator out once more on Savano. It has to work out a bit better in this case. They're going to be mitting it towards mid, but it's the B push that's coming in for ZOL.
Yeah, so curious how they're going to manage their ult to make sure that they can potentially snowball for the first half. And that's first blood when it comes to ult on their end, as the knives are out and as well as the lockdown being used as well.
Well, lockdown buys them the space they need. You can see KDM here opting to choose for the retake. They push deep towards mid, but because of the Prowler, it finds out that attempt, and now ZOL have a choice here. Do they wait within the site, or do they push forward towards CT? They're going for the latter, and they do take that control.
Very, very difficult position to be in right now. Patman able to find one in heaven, knowing that it's going to be a 3-stack. He's playing quite close, a very risky position, but the crossfire is going to be there. If they decide to push Garage, at least someone's going to be there to greet them. But in the end, KDM. See, Jet, the only one left, Savano with the op. Not sure if you have an angle there to push through and get through the site, and he's going to save it instead.
Yeah, well, difficult to retake with the op in that case in 1v2. And smart here by ZOL to recognize, hey, the brunt of the push on the retake from KDM is coming from our flank, coming from B main. So instead, they push out towards that defender's spawn. They push out further deep to gain some semblance of control. And the spike, it was sort of planted for them anyways, especially if they had heaven. So that's great recognition from ZOL here.
Yeah, they covered everything. Josh F was positioned at heaven as well, so there's not a lot of holes to get into to sort of get through the defenses, basically, that ZOL set up for their spike.
Yeah, and to make sure that they don't leave those holes open, right? Make sure that the net is widely casted is a big thing that I think if you're them, you really have to rely on, because the opposing side, they're gonna punish that anytime they see it.
And that is the scary part coming from ZOL. Once they get the spike down, it's so difficult for retakes, so they have to destroy this attack before anything happens. Zind gonna get nearsighted, they're gonna greet everybody who gets a double kill, but is immediately traded.
Oh, no problem at all. And you can see, because of the Fade plus Breach combo they have here, it's such a hard hit by ZOL that KDM, their composition simply does not stand up to that. They have the Omen, which can really slow things down if you're hit by the Paranoia, but you have to be in position to throw that anyways in the first place, and we saw there that they weren't, simply enough.
Yeah, the fact that, again, despite the Paranoia, the way Zind moves across the map to make sure that he stays alive as as long as he can once he's in the site. Very effective dispenser. Ready to hit Padman's head.
Well, it's a good shot by him. But ultimately enough, this round is done, Riku. I'm not too sure if Kadaliman would want to hold on to this at this point. Oh, he gets the pick. And should be able to save the op, but ZOL now, who simply do not go unanswered. Nah, he should be safe at this moment. Just don't peek it, please. Please. Okay. Okay. Good for you.
Able to get 1 kill before the round proceeded.
All right.
High risk, high reward.
I'm not sure about the rewards necessarily. Maybe they damage your economy in return. But Kadaliman here, this would not be a bad time to call a timeout. I'm a fan of timeouts being called a bit early in a half. And this would be the time to do so. You're on the defensive side. Statistically favored on split, not the most, but you typically are in an advantageous position here on this half, but they just haven't been able to utilize it. Maybe now with the ults they can do something about it though.
Yeah, they do have, from the shadows, they have a lot of area control with the breach ult, so we'll have to see as well with the resurrect. They need one more person for that neural theft though, if they want to gain more information. But so far, it's been a bit spread out for the side of ZOL.
They want to keep Kadaliman guessing, I guess. If they give him different points of contact, then there's a higher chance that Kadaliman are going to use their utility, maybe even that Rolling Thunder, burn that Paranoia early, and that will make ZOL's execute attempt a lot more possible to succeed, especially knowing, actually they don't even know this, but now that we can see it from our perspective, the fact that there's 4 players on this B site will make ZOL much more difficult on that execute.
Yeah, the fact that everybody's playing close and just literally, as we talked about it, the Rolling Thunder is there. But Silvano, in a very advanced, able to catch people from Kadaliman off guard.
Look at this, because of that stack, such a great read here coming from Kadaliman. ZOL in a difficult spot, difficult scenario. Naru able to get a third, but that's all it is before they sing his tune. Kadaliman respond, and this is still a back and forth game, Riku.
Yeah, it's 4-5. It's been very close. You don't know who is going to. It has been a denial of snowballs so far, and any of momentum isn't actually built as it has been a trade of scoring so far.
And this is the type of game I want to see, right? Not really necessarily super large runs, but we see micro runs from either side. We see 3 rounds won in a row by Kadaliman, and then 3 rounds in return by ZOL, and then they stop this momentum. And that is when you can really see the back and forth ensue, and their micro adjustments from teams after a few rounds come into play.
Yeah, it's the fact that they're trying to make sure that they try and surprise people. As Zind gets 2 kills on the side against KDM. Really good start.
Really great start. Paranoia keeps him in check for the meantime. Narpim catches across, but cannot get the kill off of it. Good flash to give him a bit more entry potential. Savano gets a stop. They've made their way here towards that pillar. They're trying to swing on wide, but Narpim helps him on out, and so does Savano! Here on the flank though, Naru. Maybe he wins this fight. He needed to. 1v2. And Senor Carl in the difficult spot, but we've seen him clutch these rounds out.
He has Cosmic Divide. He has a lot of utility on the board. They still have to guess whether he's going to come from heaven or not. And he's able to possibly pick up the spike. The question is, does he even have time to run to A and plant the spike there?
He does, now that he's retrieved it though. The fact he was able to do it without burning much time gives him at least adequate moments to make his way towards that A unstopped. There is a cam here though, so if Kadaliman check this, they should know where he is. Oh.
Able to destroy it, but that signals the rest of Kadaliman to go in. We talked about from the shadows to instantly teleport to a nearby area, but we talked about the Cosmic Divide. This is the time to use it and win this 1v2, possibly.
Yeah, that's a big ult. He can isolate the fight because of this. He gets a catch on the dispenser, and Senor Carl in a 1v1.
Let's see if the timing is going to be correct. He knows that Senor Carl came from elbow. So Narpim decides to wrap around, but this Cosmic Divide is such a nuisance. He has to play hide and seek and become the tagger, and he's able to tag Senor Carl and eliminate him and clutch this for Kadaliman.
That's Boss Narp clutching it there. At the end, Kadaliman, hold on. It came pretty close and won an attempt by Senor Carl. But still, it's a back and forth. We tie up the game once more. We see that heaven push here. Something that ZOL love to apply, but Kadaliman, they finally adjusted into stopping and halting that push.
Yeah, it's just such a testament on how close this game and how important this BO3 is for both of these teams. Again, we keep talking about there's only one slot left for split 2 from the open qualifier. So it's, again, that's why it's very, very heated.
Very.
Very.
Very, very heated.
I don't know why I do that.
Trust me, you're not alone in this endeavor.
I'm thankful.
Kadaliman right now, they are not alone because they are all friends. Yes, the power of friendship prevails. You got some ultimates up here on either side, but more importantly, the res on Kadaliman and the Rolling Thunder from ZOL. As a timeout is called, you got 2766, a very familiar name we've also seen here play in the VCT. He was on that Sunsparks roster early during year 1. We've seen him on many different configurations, and this time around he's more in the coaching role for ZOL. So maybe the name ZOL isn't something too familiar, the brand itself, to some of the VCT fans out there if you only watch the regular season. But make no mistake, the people behind it and the people within it are all veterans of, or at least experienced enough to call themselves formidable opponents coming into this.
And that experience will definitely help see if they are able to break through some sort of this back and forth, as Dispenser is able to spot out a lot of people on B main.
Well, he halts them with that cage for the meantime. Tripwire on out. Allows him to maybe get a catch if they go onto this hard, but he has to be aware that ZOL, they've got the Rolling Thunder as well here, and that could throw him off. So as the smoke dissipates, the execute's about to come.
There it is, and again with a very aggressive charge, but Dispenser finds him first. Patman though, Dispenser again doing a lot of work here, being that guardian of B site.
A triple from him already. Even tagged with a fault line, still gets the kills and still gets value from his position. Stays alive as well. Narpim here on the backup. Paranoia thrown out already. They know that the last 2 has to be here. That's confirmation of their idea.
And with Dispenser half HP, pretty much hugging the box. Doesn't have a lot of escape pool, but they gotta buy some time. And in the end, 4K for Dispenser. The KDM 6-5.
Oh. He does it again. Of course. Well, if there's anybody who has achieved something to be able to do that to his fellow comrades, and it might as well be him, right? We know where he's come from, obviously. And he delivers absolutely here when put to the task.
Yes, this should do. This goes here.
And I feel like, yeah, that's something ZOL
That goes there. Yes.
really has to watch out for constantly. It's that big 50-50. Where is Dispenser going to be? Is it going to be A or is he going to be B once more? Because most of the wins that ZOL had, and there's a Rolling Thunder right now. Zin flying across the map, enters heaven, gets the spray down, and kills 2.
Oh, another double for Zin there towards that heaven. Now the anchors within the site have a lot more pressure placed upon them. They know the Raptors push is coming on in. Josh F pieing that corner. They drop on down and they find Dispenser. They're taking the site for themselves. KDM crumbling here as Narpim stands alone.
Remember, it's so difficult. ZOL 1v4 right now. Let's see if there's any value that's gonna happen here from Narpim if he's able to get at least a bit of like exit frags here.
Well, perhaps. But at this point, I mean, it is the last round of the half, so you're gonna have to throw in everything you can. All he's got is a smoke. Maybe that's enough to buy him concealment, but it won't be enough cover. Not against all the guns stabbed at him. They know where he is, and simply stands no chance to the firing squad as they tie up the game at the half.
And now it's a complete reset. Black and blue. It's 6-6. It's swapping sides, and now it's crazy how close these 2 teams are.
Yeah, like we were kind of wondering, you know, especially with this ZOL squad, on how their performance would be in potentially stark contrast to Kadaliman, because it wasn't the best performance by them, especially during that opening map here yesterday versus, you know, Rambutan ni Tatay. Yet still, they're giving us a really good opening map here to tie up the game. As you said, equalized. We've come to a reset point, so forget about the first half. This is the only thing we've got to focus on. ZOL, they're on the defense right now. And KDM, I'm wondering to see how this Omen will work out on the attack. We know as, a smoker, he's one of those more hard-hitting, initiating smokers. I want to see that come into play.
Yeah, especially the fact that on the opposite side is an Astra who has more than just smokes. Especially the fact that you do have that gravity well, can't exactly want to stack onto one area, especially on B main, as you'll be easily revealed and forced to enter fights that you're not ready for.
Well, as prepared as they may come, you might be prepared, but you even qualify to that task. We're gonna have to find out. As KDM look to split this B site, they have presence there towards mid. They flushed out vent, they know it's clear, and they dodged out haunt as well on towards that B upper heaven, which could be a big surprise to ZOL's attack defense.
Yeah, that's going to be absolutely interesting as the attack has already began, but there's just a lot of smokes to block out information. Patman finds 2 from heaven, and Kadeliman is able to get the plant down.
A pat on the back for Patman here, 2v3. Kadeliman, they get the plant on down, but the retake, they have the man advantage here for ZOL. They could take that alley control to try and split this.
Here we go, 2v3 at this point. 1, the double box, and there we go. Clean round with 3 people still left alive.
And that's the thing. It had to be Channy Boy. It had to be that Sage to make the opening contact, not the player who was in a committed tower position there underneath the rafters. He had to be able to pull that contact to allow the rat play to work on out in the first place, but just simply never came to pass. They found Dispenser first, and because of that, able to focus in and hone on his position.
Yeah, again, it was just a big surprise. Again, Patman, I believe he had a phenomenal... he ended on a very, very good note back in Split 1 playoffs. Like, he was acing here and there, so it's like really, really nice to see him shine in that previous round.
Certainly shining bright, at least as he may. I think this is a tech pause, considering how it hasn't continued on, so it gives us a bit of time to talk. Kadeliman, we know, of course, the expectation that that brand carries. You have players, you have names, big names like Narp, like Dispenser. That gives you just added pressure, I think. Especially if you are them, but also to the other players on this roster, knowing how it might be one of your first rodeos, right? If you're one of the new people on this scene, on this team, and yet you have just so much to deal with, and we know that mental pressure is something that does get to players, but at the very least, they have that veterancy that we like to talk about a lot to try and dissuade those bad omens and keep them in place and keep them in check.
Yeah, that's the thing. We're talking about, this roster versus ZOL, who, again, majority of the players have already played previously together for one entire regular season. And therefore, I think it's just one of those key strengths and key weaknesses. Like, how do you adjust as a team, as KDM, right now, on top of the pressure that you have to deal with only one chance in this BO3 to enter the regular season? And as well for ZOL, again, we talked about this prior, where this team, most of these players were directly invited, so they didn't have to go through this nerve-wracking process of, am I going to be in the regular season? And especially that they had a very stellar performance, landing in 4th place in the previous season. So, of course, they definitely want to have another shot and chance at the regular season once more.
That's a good point. We haven't seen, some of these ZOL players be in this position before necessarily as a unit together, because they were invited. They had, due to, a lot of the great things they were able to achieve during that off season, had a direct route into that regular season. And we didn't see them necessarily be put to the test in that same case. And when they were put to the test in the regular season and in the playoffs, it just wasn't necessarily anything to write home about. And Me and Dax were talking about this in the first series a while ago, that we expected at least a top 4 finish, maybe even a podium finish in the top 3, and yet that just never came to pass. And for ZOL, really, the motivations for either team here, for KDM at the very least, is more, can they prove that this new roster that they have for this brand can keep up to the expectations of what's happening? But for ZOL, it's more, can they live up to the expectations they upon set themselves from a bygone era, perhaps, that might be past theirs?
Yeah, that's the thing. Yeah, KDM, an iconic brand in the local Valorant scene, and then you add in experienced and seasoned players. Of course, it's very heavy. But yes, it can definitely be one of those strengths on you rely on that veteranship and see how well you can adjust through these long-hauled games. Especially, it has been close. It hasn't been a snowball. As we continue the game on Split.
Well, let's get right into it, finally. Round number 2 of the second half, as they look to execute. Aftershock keeping him at bay. Not the best weapon for a long-range engagement there, Savano.
Dear.
Able to tuck in the nick of time, but I think they know.
And they know there's a Prowler's gonna spot him out, and he probably has no escape anymore because he doesn't have a dash. And Patman is able to clean slate and kills 2.
Yeah, quick and easy. No real fight here. Classic by Dispenser, able to connect, but they're gonna get shredded down. Not a round they're necessarily expected to win in the first place, and there it is.
Yeah, it's one of those GG go next round, try to see if they're able to get a kill or 2. Damage a little bit on their economy. But with this said, no, now it's gonna be a better chance. If we take a look at the replay, again, it was just a Prowler, just destroying Savano's plan.
Well, many moments here we see ZOL so impeccable in those type of rounds that they love to close out cleanly, to not let KDM build the lead up on early. Spike, they leave it here towards that sewer, want to give them many different avenues of attack and just keep that defense guessing constantly on where it's coming, but they push out towards B main. Look at Senior Carl here.
Oh. Yeah, definitely very, very aggressive, but with the dash activated, let's see if there's going to be a double swing here. That's going to be a no. Senior Carl just gathering information with the star now in place. He wants a safe escape.
Well, he's able to escape for the meantime safely. Luckily for him, it's a B site they want to re-hit here. You can see Dispenser lurking on that Cypher, still towards the A site, trying to find an opening, or at least try and pull the defense. If he does make noise, yes, it's going to give him away. That's his alarm bot. It's certainly about... Oh, he spots it out. He hears it through the wall. That gives him a chance to maybe get a catch here on the rotate.
Yeah, that's... We'll have to see. He's unable to... He knows someone is there. Zin decides to back away. There's just a lot of utility on this A side for Dispenser to try and penetrate and break through. So now with this mid stack, there's no one coming from vent. So this flank, this back attack is like really good with the Nightfall combined.
Nightfall cuts the noise, but allows him to try and gain a bit more control of the situation. Josh F, he's under the rafters. They're not going to expect him from that hell, but they still get the kill. Triple going their way here, KDM, and they're able to get the plant off on the site from it. The 2v4 retake. ZOL, do they even go for the attempt?
That is the biggest question. A little, that was too close. At 3 seconds on the clock, they're able to get the spike. Everyone is on the site versus Narpim, though. They're going to go through elbow. Everybody's flashed. They don't have a lot of cover, but just as you said, it's a little bit dire for this possible clutch from Senior Carl. He's able to get one. He has to reload as KDM does it again. It was a 2-0 start from ZOL, and then KDM is able to win that back.
Well, nicely done there from KDM. Keeping the game even closer, Riku. They got the res coming into this. You can see ZOL, at the very least, their bonus somewhat giving them just a bit of economy to force up that operator. It's going to be a glass cannon. Let's see if it shatters or holds.
And it's extremely important. Well, they don't have a Sage. The Resurrect is actually on the other side of the river. As we get to see Savano. There's the slow orb. It's gonna slow him down. Will he get the headshot? That's gonna be a no. But that gives information for ZOL that there's a bit of a stack or there's a person there on B main.
Oh yeah, there's certainly presence at the very least, right? They're pushing here towards that mid. They're supporting this op. They want Zin to get that pick. And Kadaliman, they might just be walking straight into their sights. And as soon as Zin gets his pick, you can expect that that's gonna set off the hail of kerfuffle. There it goes.
That's value, and Patman with the support kill as well. They get 2, and ZOL is happy about that one.
Yeah, great pick. They get the res up online. Dispenser quick on the trade. He's ready to get that going. Naru finds the one in retaliation. 4v3 as they stand. They're trying to take on this mid. They've gained control, but where do they go? Do they try and split towards A from the vent, or they continue towards B in heaven? Seems like the latter is their option.
And everyone's split right now from the side of ZOL. It's a bit of 50-50. They don't have information just yet, but just as you said, they're making their way towards heaven. There's still a lot of utility for them to slow this push down. And at this point, 30 seconds on the clock, we still have a lot of time to plant this spike.
Well, they're taking some damage in this bout. Shiny Boy able to get that kill on the Naru. They swing on through the smokes, but it's Yort who confirms a kill. Sight is theirs. Flank coming on in from ZOL. Maybe he can get a pick off, and it has to work here for Josh F.
Yeah, it's a 2v3 at this point. A potential sandwich. They know Josh F is going to be coming from B main. But with this, though, the crossfires are pretty much set up, and that's why it's difficult as Kadaliman takes this 808.
Kadaliman keeping that beat going. The classic tune of the machine. The 808 keeping the pace. Funny fun fact. The reference I'm making here, an 808 is a lot of what you may have ever heard from like all the 80s music, Michael Jackson, hell, even Kanye West. It's made with a drum machine called an 808. So that's the reference I'm making. Yes, 808 to keeping the beat going. Yeah.
Amazing!
Thriller,
I didn't know
all that. Smooth Criminal. It's made with an 808. Yes.
I
Sorry,
see it. I
nerd.
see it. I see the a little bit of the inverted horizontal O's on the score because this is the first map we're looking at right now. And with that said, whoa, there you go. There's the attack. A lot of smokes already blocking a lot of information from both sides, but doesn't stop the fact that Kadaliman is already inside the site. They just need to secure everything, and one of them is that wall just blocking one more entry point for ZOL to take over.
Oh, well, you can see them, you can hear them even scraping at that wall. Score tied up, but that's about to change. A rolling thunder here for Kadaliman to hold onto the site. They're trapped within it, though. They're all within this. Nobody even coming from any sort of outside presence, so let's see how they hold.
That's the biggest question with now the... Whoa, dear. That's a 1v2. Zin wins that overall with Sheriff. There's still a lot of shots being fired. 1v2. All up to Narpin to buy some time. He finds the first one, and he gets the second. There we go. 98. KDM doing really well.
Okay, great recovery from KDM. Shouldn't have been that close, though, considering it was kind of like an eco here for ZOL. And they threw out the Rolling Thunder as well, their KDM, in that moment to flush out or maybe force back the A main, but Zin connecting on these two shots and Patman following on up. Almost seemed disastrous, but luckily Narpin kept his cool, kept his composure, and kept them in the lead.
And nicely done 1v2 by Narpin. And with that said, a lot of the ults, neural theft, and as well as the jet knives available from the side of Kadaliman. Let's see how they're able to utilize to get to the double digits this time around.
Oh, that was close. A close call. Operator shot doesn't connect. It gives away where that is now. Now KDM, they can play around this. They can try and avoid that A site with the information given. But look at this. He is absolutely trapped and they punish him for it.
Patman with his first blood. And yeah, you're right. It gives a lot of information, but this may also force Zin to move towards B. Decides to stay put on A instead. Savannah with the knives out already. And he tries to peek, but Senior Carl is able to eliminate him.
Oh, he legs him. Doesn't even take Dispenser down. Dispenser is so fortunate. That's twice now he's gotten away from a fight with an op.
That's true. Quite close, 30 HP. With that said, it's a bit of a dicey situation now with a 4v3, a 5v3 situation, knowing that the op is potentially still situated
30
and
seconds
not
left.
moved from heaven. Let's see, with 30 HP, not sure. This crossfire now assembled by ZOL as they peek through garage. And even, oh here, they're able to actually find one. Patman kills Dispenser. They don't have a lot of time though.
Yeah. At this point, you're kind of wondering, do we just save? And I think that should be the right option. It's the one they go for. So, third time's a charm, as Dispenser does finally go down. So they hold on to the round, they tie up the game. And that op is now going to be a constant thing in the back of KDM's mind. That presence of it, they're going to have to play around knowing that that is available.
Yeah, it has been, again, such a nuisance for ZOL, as again so far Zind rather has been quite comfy and it's very difficult to sort of penetrate through and find Zind. So far it has been him constantly having that op.
Let's see if it continues to be a problem here. They have that from the shadows to gain information, but also reposition anywhere they so choose. You see this mid control trying to be taken once again. In KDM, they've shown an insistence of wanting to fight for this mid control a lot of times to really cut down the options of ZOL, but ZOL, they a lot of times have no want in it. All they really concern themselves about is fighting for that heaven and keeping control of the mains to allow themselves, I guess, better anchor positions.
Yeah, playing a bit more close and giving up mid control. So we'll see right now if the spread of utility will pay off in the end for ZOL here, considering that no one is going to be coming from heaven, and the fact that KDM has been very sneakily making their way throughout this B side. This has been very successful for this team. Savano hasn't spot out anyone just yet. Senior Carl does though, and removes Channy Boy.
Yeah, good kill here from Senior Carl. They take the site, they get the plant down, but it's good damage done already. You can see him trying to get a catch off. Savano has to be careful before pushing this corner. I think they're going to double push it at this moment. The trade should come on in. He gets the one, and he gets a third as well from it. Senior Carl, will he get the fourth? No. 2v3 though, and Dispenser gets a catch. It's a 1v2 now. They know where Josh S. is.
Yeah, because of that neural theft, he's stuck with this bot right now, trying to spot for him. And he has no choice but to defuse because he has no time at all. He doesn't have it, but he hits the headshot first. He wants to try to do the bait, but Dispenser finds him in the end.
Oh my goodness, absolutely outplayed. You see what he did there? He knew he was on the spike, so he threw the tripwire towards the opposing wall. So when it comes across, it tags him because it was right on the spike as well. Instead of making him walk into the tripwire, he literally just threw the tripwire on where he was. So nicely done, and just exemplary play here coming from ZOL. Rather, KDM.
Yeah, really nicely done by Dispenser. It was basically pretty much of a dicey position for Josh F. Now a timeout, of course, as we're already heading over to the double digits, as KDM feels like, honestly, even though it's not apparent in the score, but when it comes to what is the word that I'm looking for? Comfortability? Momentum and a mentality standpoint, I feel like KDM has it.
Oh, well, definitely so, especially on the defensive side here, rather attacking side, where they're the ones who get to set where the fight happens. They're the ones who get to choose where we go. They're the ones who get to really put all their man count towards one side. And, you know, I was talking about split kind of being defender-sided because it was for the longest time. But I think now it's kind of equalized, actually. And especially in, like, the few months past, we've been seeing a lot of teams do a lot better on the attacking side than the defense. Ultimate's out of bound for ZOL, but it's about where you and when you use them instead of the cards necessarily in play.
Yeah, it has been the same strategy of getting more close space from the different entry points and giving up mid. So we'll see with the lockdown available with Rolling Thunder, that's definitely going to be helpful for a potential retake, but Savannah decides to back away, possibly going to enter through vents instead on towards A.
Well, could be the option they take, and that it seems to be towards the B. Rolling Thunder coming up online, connects, stalls that Heaven push for the meantime. Lots of pressure applied here on the attack of KDM. They try and fall back instead. They know they've pulled that noise. They know the defense should be wary. They want to give him a second option.
And it's really good too, because KDM basically just wanted to bait out all of these key ultimates away from ZOL for a possible retake, for possible stall. They still have the lockdown, but the lockdown's in A, and the only thing left is going to be the Cosmic Divide or the possible Gravity Well. As now he sees it, he knows, he hears the sound, he hears the footsteps, there's the smoke. He's wanted to do the spray down, but gets denied by Channy Boy.
Okay, shots connecting here. Channy Boy gets that pick off after the res as well, and Zin comes in with a double. Lockdown to be placed here by ZOL, and that they do get set. There's some time to get the spike down, but afterwards they're gonna have to bail. They deny the plant, and that should be the nail in the coffin. This round is done. ZOL, take it.
Yep, 3 with 6 seconds on the clock. A couple of seconds on the clock, and the spike very far away. Really nicely done by ZOL. I mean, it was one of those things where they didn't have a lot of time. They didn't have a lot of resources. The lockdown was ticking, and they had no choice but to either plant in a very closed area or something open but more risky in a way, as they don't know where everyone's going to be coming from ZOL.
I think that's a key word here. Really, really cool. They don't know. They aren't aware. They don't have any real way to gather information. Not the same way ZOL do have, who, you know, they have, at the very least, this haunt. And gathering information for Kadiliman has been somewhat of a problem on their attacking side. And we saw that there in the post plant. They weren't aware of where that push was going to come from. They weren't necessarily prepared for that re-hit on the defensive side's end. And if you're Kadiliman, you're playing a lot of these rounds dry with contact.
Yeah, having to risk your life and contact, just as you said, and see and gather information versus just as you mentioned, the haunt, the prowler, even the killjoy with the bots. And now with less than 60 seconds on the clock, it was the issue earlier where Kadiliman didn't have a lot of leeway and didn't have a lot of time, and now again so far has been the sole guardian of Heaven and has been working out.
Well, they get that damage done early, pressure being applied. See, once more, as I talked about a while ago, they love going for this mid take and then splitting towards that Heaven site, but ZOL, they're ready to rescind it and play for the site itself, or maybe for a retake. They have that Cosmic Divide to utilize as well. Utility out here towards A. It's going to be that sole killjoy to hold things down.
We'll have to see if that's going to be enough. Savannah decides to stay put. See if everybody rotated already from the side of ZOL. Zin finds a kill, finds a lot of heads and bodies onto Heaven, and it's flawless from ZOL at this point.
We crushed them.
ZOL, they take the lead. Here back once more. And they're continuing their reign, their run in this game. Good stop on that anti-eco of theirs. And this is once more, see Kadiliman, you see that lack of information. They're just too wary to try and go for these corners, too wary to try and go for a push, because they simply do not know where ZOL are waiting, where they're hiding. And that lack of information is really being a killing point for them.
Yeah, they've been playing with time, and see the rules, and gets through at a very aggressive peak and is rewarded with a kill for first blood for their team.
The thing is too, you know, when you want to play with a breach like this, it has to be kind of a hard hit style instead of the slower, more methodical corner clearing style which you'd normally see be applied with maybe something like a Sky, something with a bit more corner clearing. But they don't have that here for Kadaliman. They don't have that information gathered once more. And they're not playing to the strengths of their comp. They have that Omen. They have the fault line off of the breach. They could hit them with a Paranoia plus fault line stun combo to get these rounds going the same way ZOL are doing in that case. And that's what they have to replicate, but Kadaliman just can't find the proper pieces right now.
It's so difficult. The timing of ZOL every single time. And again, KDM also banking on timings as they sort of bank through the inner clutches of time to see if they can get any stragglers from any rotation, as this is the call right now going towards A. The Paranoia is going to blind them just a little bit, but at this point they don't have the luxury as they're found by Naru. Channy Boy there with the immediate trade. Narpim as well. 3v2 at this point. Again, we keep talking about time. Senior Carl, we know that he is absolutely scary, but it all comes down to it, like literally right now, and he does it again, and their match point.
Wow, Senior Carl, the right place at the right time to get them that match point. And Kadaliman, they're fighting valiantly. We saw there like that catch from Narpim at the end, but because of just how little time they had to scramble towards that B site. And Senior Carl was just simply too ready, too aware of what was to come, and he closes it out. So 12-10, all hope is not lost just yet, but look at the buy. Not the most ideal for Kadaliman. They have a Rolling Thunder, but will it be enough?
And now they gotta play aggressive here, try to catch them off guard. The lot is there to the, but wait, Savano gets a headshot on the Batman.
They're spraying through. He has the blades at the very least. You can see him waiting in the smoke, but bails out of it. The fight, not the best one. He sees they're trapped. Rolling Thunder comes on him. Josh F able to dissuade it, not get hit.
Oh, but at the end of the day, Dispenser's able to get a kill, at least onto Josh F. Narpim makes it into a 2v2. Now this is a different scenario. Now they have more time. Now they can take their time and see what is the best option for Kadaliman to deny this first map against ZOL and survive a little bit more. But Senior Carl, will he ruin their day once more? And that's a yes! And ZOL Esports takes the first map in this series.
I'm not sure about that decision at the end there, Riku. He had the Spectre in his hands and he swung out wide from the elbow. They could have gone for the plant. He cleared the immediate screens. I'm not sure why he took the long fight there in that case. Maybe he wanted to try and get them off, rotate towards B, but they had the side at that point. Could have gone better at the end. And I was hoping that maybe slotting in Dispenser here would work out in better case when it comes to decision making for Kadaliman, but we didn't necessarily see that coming at the end. They had a great start, great opening half, okay second half start, but in the end it's about how you close over how you start. And when it comes to closing, it's ZOL who had it much more better. And look at that, 11 first bloods from Zind.
Yeah, just making all of the initial entry count every single time, especially during the first half of that map. It was Zind finding 1 or 2 kills and making again the initial initiate count.
And you see that there, the scoreline suggests it. The fact that Kadaliman had so many times where they had to play at the deficit because Zind would get the opening pick, that just made it much more difficult for Kadaliman. Arguably, if that wasn't the case, then maybe they could have won up this map number 1, but once again, because of just the initiative many times on over by ZOL on the attack and the defend, it made things so much more difficult for Kadaliman to win out in the end.
Yeah, I feel like props to I gotta compliment ZOL Esports' patience in this entire series. Not so much on the attack, but on the defense, they weren't over rotating. They were making sure that they're covering a lot of ground, and that's the reason why the attack coming from Kadaliman they were struggling a lot on the second half.
Oh, for sure. Like, we see those moments come in spades, I guess, for Kadaliman. They come moment to moment, but it was never necessarily the consistent train that we saw ZOL just run away like a locomotive with. There's some good attempts here and some good moments like there when we see, but the mid-round decisions, and at least when it comes to the big of it, it never came down to B. But we can deliver the win at the end with Senior Carl here. You see NCG, but really it's ZOL. And they deliver the win to Grab Unlimited once more. What the player. Big rounds we saw from him. Second top frag for his team. And especially delivered just incredible moments one after the other. A reliable source of fragging powerhouse and just utility times on over here.
Yeah, I feel like the reason why Kadiliman had a very, very difficult time, especially when the plan in mind is to attack B. Senior Carl is always ready, lying in waiting to use his utility to slow down the attack. And again, the big cosmic divides for potential clutch, especially when he's the last player left. Very pivotal on why, again, ZOL Esports has won this round, or map.
Yeah, for sure. A very important part of this case, and I'm hoping to see that, you know, ZOL can maybe continue this, or especially importantly, if Kadiliman can come back to map number 2 and maybe give us a third.
Yeah, it's going to be an exciting Haven. We've already seen how close these two teams are when it comes to power level. But of course, with one map ahead already, 1 point already on the side of ZOL Esports, the biggest question is, will Kadiliman be able to take this into map number 3? We're going to head on over first for a short break, so don't go away. We'll be right back. we're back once again for the Open Qualifiers of VCT Philippines, split number 2. We're still your casters for this BO3 series. I'm Riku. Joining me once more is Black and Blue, and we're currently in the middle of such an intense series between Kadiliman and ZOL Esports.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, when you look at really throughout that game, it was a complete back and forth. The pendulum never really settled towards one side. If anything, it was always swinging and kept it going. And that really, I think, was the big point of that map. It came down to either side constantly making adjustments, constantly stifling the momentum of the opposing side as we move into the agent select here for map number 2. And if you're Kadiliman, Haven has to be where you lock things down. Looking at it, they have much of the similar ideas, at least composition-wise, put in here, as we almost have a mirror comp. The only real difference is the sky here for ZOL and the breach for Kadiliman.
Yeah, that's true. I think when it comes to a lot of areas covered, of course, you do want to hand it over to a breach where you can just hug one wall and just reach through your fault line and just cover a lot of ground when it comes to, I guess, crowd control for retakes and takes attacks into a site. Versus, you know, the sky. Again, with more information, utility when it comes to information to deliver for their squad. So I like this difference between these two compositions.
It's very various but still similar ideas, right? The breach, you got the sun, the sky, you got the bird, you do that guiding light, and then you're like, oh, there's somebody over there, right? So you at least have that going for them, and maybe that can kind of rectify some of the things that we saw a while ago. And as we see, you know, ZOL, they're the team that kind of likes to play with that information gathering a bit more instead of deferring to the, you know, the breach, the hard hit. And from Kadiliman, what we saw a while ago was that they played that breach on split, but we didn't see them necessarily use the benefits of having that breach where you go in for the hard hit on the attacking side. They like to play this slow, methodical style, which a lot of times just favors Sky a bit more. So maybe this time they can rectify those mistakes once more. We see breach be a very important, rather very influential agent here on Haven. So maybe this is where they can maybe, you know, make their mark and bring us to map 3.
Yeah, again, they're fighting for the one single slot left out of the 4 coming into the regular season. Absolutely very important for both of these teams, of course, as well as, again, similar motivations, different stories for both Kadiliman and ZOL Esports.
Oh, for sure. We know, of course, there's nothing else to motivate you like making it into the regular season.
Yeah!
And they want to make that on happen. So we're going straight into the game, Riku, here. Map number 2. ZOL are up in the series 1-0.
Yeah, Kadiliman, ZOL rather, going to be starting first on the defense. It's going to be a B hit, it seems. As Savano already pretty much covered backside, trying to look through 2 ends of this entrances to see if anyone's going to come through. The dog's going to spot him out, though, and that signals Zin to enter and eliminate someone.
Okay, quick and easy. Connection here found by Zend. They're holding on to this. They flushed him on out, but here comes the garage push from Senior Carl. Absolutely huge to make it much more uncomfortable. Dispenser good for the 2. They tap the spike. They're off of it, but they win all the frags anyways. As ZOL open up with a pistol.
Yep, on defense, and it has been so far 100% for all the pistol rounds. ZOL has been coming out on top.
Well, for an opening start, I think that was stellar here from ZOL. Yes, the site was taken quickly here by Kadiliman, but they were ready to give it up anyways for ZOL, and to play that retake, they did the perfect thing. Look at that. One for everybody.
Yeah.
A team ace.
It is a team ace for ZOL, and it's the coordination of passing on the information and exactly knowing what to do after. And it all started because, again, of the dog spotting someone from backside and then immediately going in while that person's vulnerable. Zind, top of the boxes, making sure he has eyes on people here on short. Let's see, that could be a possible quick round here, as again, a lot of information, a lot of funneling through all of these bullets and utility to just basically choke everyone there from Kadiliman.
As you said, the information was given away anyways, but Shiny Boy still loses that one. He connects on the head, but Zind, better weapon to fight in that case. Josh F, does he even clear this? He sees the barrel. Should be a quick kill. All now here. On to Dispenser for Kadiliman. He's on that lurk a lot of the times, and It does get them a bit more presence throughout the map, but they just haven't been able to convert it just yet in these opening 2 rounds.
Yeah, he could possibly isolate and get a 1v1 onto this Omen. He's quite low, though, but he has knife out. And there we go. Clean round for ZOL.
Oh, for sure. They want to hold on to those Bulldogs moving into this. We know those bonuses, the more stand up alive, the more they can bring in a, winning this potential bonus round of theirs. But I want to see now this attacking side of KDM really give us a different look from what we saw a while ago in Split. Where is the hard hits that we expect with a comp like this? They did force buy into that one, though, by the way. So,
oh wow,
this is another eco from KDM.
Yeah, that's the thing. I was about to say, if 100% from Split, all of the pistol rounds so far, ZOL has won. 100% on the other side for KDM to win the 3rd round. But yeah, this changes everything with all just sheriffs on KDM's end. How will they be able to attack with on the weaker buy once more?
And ZOL, they're doing this on the defensive side, the less favored side statistically here on Haven. So considering a possible 3-0 start, that's pretty good.
And that's absolutely what ZOL wants. Riding with a hype as Hatman is able to slow down the pace with the Nano Swarm on Garage. It's very difficult, again, to try and clear all of these. You do definitely need that Sky to help assist with these tight corners onto Haven.
Well, they've cut the noise. They know there's presence here towards mid due to that turret bringing on out. Flash on through. Completely blind, and what a shot here for Savano. They can try and go towards his C site now. Will they even expect a corner to be played here by the Omen? Senior Carl, he's good for the one and only before he's done.
That was a bit too close. Is able to get at least one before then. Is able to maximize that. Zin, dash is going to expire. 3v4 right now. KDM with the spike now planted, with everybody in their post-plant position. It seems to me that KDM, no matter what, they're able to win this round. But themselves, never mind. I get denied. ZOL cleans this round and is able to take 3-0. It seemed like to me, Black and Blue, I really thought that KDM had that one in the bag with the upgrades on some of their guns.
Well, that's why we can never really truly count ZOL out, isn't it, Riku? Like, they get the opening pick, and then they start to overrun the site. Senior Carl, good for one, only that one. And then they had the advantage in the post-plant, but just ZOL, quick and swift on these retakes. Look at that shot. He could have taken his sweet time to line up that shot, but no, still connects on the flick. And on this garage control, that really is where it started off. Because they were able to take that garage control away from the post-plant of KDM, it just left the KDM players within that site have to worry about that garage, and allowed the retake to really function.
Yeah, the funnel from ZOL just broke through the entire post-plant defense. Josh F already has Hunter's Fury after that orb. So we'll see where is that going to be executed if he wants to flush anyone out, especially from long or if on sewers.
Well, they've certainly made noise here towards that A. Smoke to try and keep him at bay, which it does for the meantime, but you can see KDM, they want to explode on this. Droning down towards that sewers. Spencer alone on the spike. Counter Trailblazer here coming in from that ZOL defense. Almost gets caught, but they want to continue here. They have the Hunter's Fury on ZOL to deny the plant, and you can see them give up the site in anticipation for that.
It's very risky, considering that they haven't gotten the pick yet on the side of KDM. And with that said, with the smokes coming through, with the fault line as well, that signals KDM's going in. And the Hunter's Fury, very patient. The Recon Dart will possibly spot out anyone. And there's the tit. That means Hunter's Fury coming from the side of ZOL. Will he find anyone? Will he tag anyone? No one falls yet. But the plant has been stalled so far. Happen gets a kill. Here comes the dash from the Cloud Burst. He arrives and emerges. But KDM is able to respond with their own set of kills. And it's all up to Senior Carl.
Yeah, winning pretty much every bout in that engagement. Senior Carl has a smoke. We even check this in time. He gets at one. Has a paranoia. If he throws this towards Hell, he could isolate that fight towards the Jenny. Rather, towards the Graffiti here. Throws it out. Doesn't find much. Difficult to win. Doesn't even get the follow-up. So KDM finally securing it. And I think what's really interesting in that round, Riku, was your
I mean, that was the signal. That was the goal signal. Like,
Player standing.
yeah.
pull out the Hunter's Fury. Am I right?
That would work as alarm for me now. I'm like,
Yeah.
if I ever
That'll
hear
be
that,
alarm.
I take in my alarm clock. I'm like, okay, time to wake up. It's VCT.
Absolutely. Oh dear. Oh, with that said though, 3-1. 3-1 start still for ZOL. Kadaliman though, at least is able to break momentum and take that away from ZOL, considering that, again, we won the previous map, so they're feeling it. Oh dear, that was a bit scary for Patman.
Well, on the stun, on the swing, they get the catch and should be a kill, but no, he's able to back on off. Senor Carl waiting here. He loves to play this position. We saw it a while ago, and Patman's able to bail, so they keep him alive. They burn the utility, though. They have garage control, but they pull away, wanting to go and hit after they pull the defense in.
Yeah, that's true. Despite, again, having to give up that space, the same thing can be said for Kadiliman. They had to give that away as well. Long is potentially the answer as their entry point here, but it feels like they'll be able to meet eyes with Senor Carl here.
Yeah.
Let's see if they're able to check that corner. Possibly set up a crossfire. Nope. Savano finds him first. Patman with a trade. And the recon dart's gonna spot out a lot of information for ZOL, and that's a lot of value for this team.
Yeah, perfect scan here coming in from ZOL, giving them a lot to work with. Patman, 4 on the floor, and they get the 4th round on the board.
And it's momentum that is building, because compared to the previous one, the previous map at Split, it was very back and forth, but this time, it makes me wonder that if the decision of that force buy on the second round is the result of, you know, this snowball that is happening right now.
Well, they're lucky it's only a snowball for now. If it starts turning into an avalanche, into a darn landslide, then that could be disastrous for Kadaliman on the attacking side. They have the lockdown, they have the Hunter's Fury, but so does ZOL on the counter effect of it. So it could be lockdown for lockdown here to cancel each other out. But they're going for the quick A-take. Savano should have a free kill, but no, the help from Zen comes in right at the time.
The positioning of everyone from ZOL is just very good, that are able to deny any of these kills away from Kadiliman. And yet again, it's 3-1. And they're now taking this 5-1 as well. We all thought that was going to be a kill.
Yeah, it was looking to be the case, but Zind perfectly on time. Where did he even find that from? He takes the Phantom as well, disbars it from his teammate, from Josh F. Like, can I have a go at this? Gets a kill and goes back for his own rifle. So this is where the push really came in from. Dispenser there, just the help from Zind, so perfect to keep his teammate alive.
Yeah, it was, again, that bait. And it worked out. And with that said, Kadiliman, they were able... Wow, that's a very beautiful scan coming from Josh F. They have a little bit of information to work with. But this lockdown, though, onto sewers. Josh F repositioned here. He's out in the open. He doesn't have a lot of cover to work with. So once the smoke expires, it's going to be a little bit risky. Same thing goes for Zin. He's able to get a kill, though. 30 HP. Dashes through the smoke. He's going to get greeted by Narpim. 3v3 right now from the shadows activated. We'll see where that's going to go. But with the spike now planted, let's see how the retake is going to happen.
I don't know how he was able to make it happen and stay alive, Riku, but they have the Rolling Thunder to re-hit this site. They force him off of the spike. The lockdown's about to hit now, but they're able to dodge it for the meantime. Narpim on the swing, and so do they all chime on in. Savano at the end, and Kadaliman finally get around, but that was close.
That was really close. I really thought that would have been a 6-1, but with the spike planted, it was one of those things where ZOL had to scramble to reposition for retake instead of sandwiching and encircling the rest of the Kadiliman players.
Sandwich. Oh, the
Sandwich. Burger.
Burger. Is a hot dog a sandwich?
That is... No, a hot dog is a hot dog.
Is a
If
hot
it
dog
has a
sandwich
bun,
sandwich?
then it is a hot dog sandwich.
Curious. We'll keep this train for another day. This train of thought. Josh
Gotcha.
F. He's the one to try and halt this train. As they try and go for this A push, they halt things here. And Riku, I have to ask you, in that same vein, is a bowl of cereal soup?
I don't think so, because milk isn't soup. It has to be a brothy ingredient of some sort, as Channy Boy is going to be funneled with a lot of utility coming from ZOL at this point. Knife isn't going to hit that head just yet. It didn't hit the first time it's gonna hit, the second and the third. And what a clean round coming from ZOL.
What a transfer there of ideas and of a shot coming in from Zend. And he is just keeping up the same pace, the same argument that we made for him from map number 1 directly here into map number 2. And KDM, rightfully so, call a timeout, try and halt here the momentum of ZOL, which has just been incrementally increasing, picking up the pace every round of the way.
ZOL's defense is just insane. From the latter ends of, again, the first map on Split, and now on Haven. And yeah, at this point, it's what are your options when it comes to KDM? And they do have this Hunter's Fury once more, but we've seen ZOL, despite not having ult economy in the lead, they're still able to make it work and get ults mid-rounds through kills and then respond that way instead.
Well, it's sometimes not even about, you know, finding the right response. It's just figuring out what the question is in the first place. And we see many times, akin to what we saw in Split, that it's ZOL who have just so much more information to play off of. Like we saw that scan towards A main, right?
Oh, yeah.
Just the round right prior, where because of that, ZOL just are much more aware of what's happening and allows them to not only find the question out, what the question is, what the problem to be solved in the first place is, but also then kind of infer what an answer could be, and that's why they're winning these halves.
Yeah, they're always ready, getting information and knowing what the next step is going to be. Savannah now with an aggressive push onto C at this point. The Cloudburst hiding through his own smoke, finds a kill, making it into a 3v4 actually, but ZOL still finding a lot of these. What was it? Oh my word, that swing! But in the end, Naru kills 3 and takes this match into 7-2.
Dude. ZOL, they win the round, but that man, that Jet, he is incredible in how just feisty he can be in those rounds. Senior Carl, good for the one. We see the entry from Savano, but we're seeing some great moments. Imagine if that wallbang even came into play.
Yeah.
Would have been an even better kill, but they lined up for Naru like nobody's business.
Yeah, that's true. It was a really good entry on the side of Savano to click onto that logs, but we'll see if it's going to happen again. Zin playing very close. Everyone, they know that there's a lot of presence onto window, but right now Narpim gets a headshot onto Patman. So that's good first blood for the side of KDM that they really need to survive through the series.
Well, they get the pick. Maybe KDM can, you know, revolve around that and get something going, but Senior Call responds. Hunter's Fury to apply pressure, forces him on back. Josh F gets a catch here on the Yort. Maybe Savano can equalize things out. No, it doesn't. It's all on the Channy Boy right now. He's gonna have to stand tall like a man to make it happen.
4 HP. And it's so difficult as, again, there was a lot of space that KDM had to give up as they were shoved onto their own spawn. And therefore, the onslaught of ZOL just came in one by one.
This is turning out to potentially be a quicker series than I thought, honestly, Riku. Especially after that map number 1. Split was so close, but maybe in the second half, KDM can come back. Who knows? I mean, as I said, it's about how you close and how you start. But sometimes you want to throw that first punch, and KDM, they're not connecting with anything right now. Going for that A site once more. They stun Zind on that op, and they played up close.
This is a very close op onto this corner. He's able to find the wallbang onto Savano, and therefore with no Savano, no one's there to dive deep into this entry points. And Josh F finds another, and with a numbers disadvantage onto Kadaliman. What are your options?
Aren't much for sure. He has shock darts to maybe tag Yuri up here, who he knows is committed. He pushes through, which is ill-advised. It's a 5v3. You don't have to take that risk to find a pick.
Yeah, you already have the numbers advantage. And Zin still keeping this up. I believe that's going to be Recon Dart. Jump! And finds Yort here. And that's remaining. Less members from the side of Kadaliman once more. Zin, again, playing phenomenally well into this series.
9-2.
Last round before.
It's almost time to say adieu here for Kadaliman if they can't finally get on back. As it feels bad there for Savano. He didn't even really see that Zin was right around the corner with the op. And he still gets away with it, unscathed. Good for 2 in the round, even more. Blades up online for ZOL. Kadaliman. They just haven't been able to find their footing at all here in this game.
It has been a struggle ever since, again, the beginning of the few rounds here on Haven. But we'll spot out where the sound as well. They know that the op is somewhere nearby between B and the C. But this is a very fast execute actually onto a B hit with Channy Boy already doing the plant. Dispenser is able to kill Senior Carl. This could be the time that they are able to swing and deny momentum, but Patman just says no.
Nice kill there from Patman to equalize the odds up just a bit. You can see here the retake coming in from that window to try and pistol them within that site. So they take away that mid position. But then he has to come in big. Does not connect on the blades. He wasn't even looking at him. The fight goes all towards Kadaliman's way. Unfortunately for them, they get the last round of the half and have potential to continue that momentum into the second half.
And it's a 9-3 as well. We'll have to see now with, what do you call this? Kadaliman is still able to fight back and cut momentum, but with this reset though, it's again still very scary on Kadaliman's side as we take a look at that replay. Even though it was a nice kill, it all banked on the way Zin is able to entry through this point and unable to gain control on a vertical scale of that location.
Well, I have to ask you, Riku, how superstitious are you?
Ooh, is it because I see the 2 iconic numbers on our screen?
Yes.
I'm a bit suspicious. Suspicious? No.
Suspicious? I agree. Let's end it at that. Riku Suspicious 2023. 9-3 at the start of the half. ZOL have the advantage.
F3 with Catman again. Being a huge nuisance against Kadaliman with the immediate trade. But with now control over at C, this is a good start for ZOL. Remember, 100% win for the side of ZOL on their pistol rounds. But this attack, Senior Carl will try to push through. Do they expect this? That's the question. He's able to dodge that flash. He gets the first kill. Make that a second as Zin follows through. And we talk about it again. Team Ace, the same thing that happened at the beginning of this round.
Well, luckily here for ZOL, superstitions aside, that it doesn't seem to come to pass just yet as they win the opening pistol. No, luckily for you, Riku, you're only suspicious, and not the latter.
I'm still not over that. Why did I say that? I even took my time to answer. For some reason, I was choosing between 2 words, and that one word came out.
It works out in your favor. They didn't win the pistol, so for the meantime, it sticks. It's in character. Don't worry. Anyway,
moving forward. Moving forward, with now the pistol round won by ZOL once more. Makes it 4/4 pistol round so far in this series. And it has been the same story. ZOL will win the next due to a better buy. Let's see what Kadaliman decides to do about that, because they don't have a lot of rounds anymore, and they don't have a lot of maps to work with, as this is a BO3. ZOL is already 1 point ahead in the series.
Well, this moment here for Kadaliman is absolutely crucial. You know what's an interesting thing? Whenever you have a team like this who has a Tagalog, Filipino name, and you're on the English broadcast, do you ever have this conundrum where you're like, do I say it in the Tagalog accent, like Kadiliman, or do I go like Kadiliman? You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
that's true.
It's like peso or peso. Diba?
Peso.
Right?
I don't know. Is there any preference though, Black and Blue? Would you rather have the English Kadiliman, and then there we go.
I try and do it like English, like actual English accent, unless I'm told otherwise. Like Action PH, I'll call them Action, not Action. You know,
Action.
something like that, right?
Yeah.
Not the soap, more
Yeah.
the team. So I don't know. It's just a conundrum. I don't know. I brought it up in broadcast, just whatever. Moving on.
I mean,
ZOL.
it's a very valid conundrum.
Oh yeah.
So
Oh yeah. It's plagued me for the past years. But the ZOL hit is coming towards the C site, so Kadiliman, their problems have been plaguing them all series long. And the map win is looking ever further than before.
look at that. ZOL again gets
Spike planted.
full control over on the C. We talked about how as they won the pistol, they have the better guns, they have the better firepower here. Now it's all up to Kadiliman to see if they're able to get this retake with all the sheriffs in their arsenal. One lying and waiting onto logs, but with the crossfire being set up from Josh F, and now the shock dart. This is just a lot of time bought for the side of ZOL.
Yeah, one way is going to make it even more difficult. The scan on Josh F confirms or suspicious that there is presence there towards that back site. You can see Kadiliman, they're in no rush to go for this retake. If they have to die to the spike, so they shall. A double for Josh F. And nothing going Kadiliman's way at all. And he gets a third as well in the end.
It even stays for the potential kill to finish off everyone from Kadiliman. And now ZOL close to match point here. They have been so flawless in Haven. And we talked about the questions and the answers. And yeah, Kadiliman feels like they don't have the questions just yet to reach a conclusion. It feels like ZOL is definitely poised to 2-0 this BO3.
I would have thought this would have extended, you know, further, but we saw this happen from Kadiliman versus that Rambutan ni Tatay squad, Riku.
Yes.
Where it really wasn't much to write home about. 4-13, that map ended in the favor of Rambutan ni Tatay. And a lot of that same case, the same scenarios replicating itself here. A nightmare that's once again haunting Kadiliman as A hit comes in.
It is as the paranoia activated. Savano isn't spotted just yet. Try to do a swing transfer. Not gonna be possible as Nauro denies that. Now it's a 4v2. It's a very, very difficult situation that Kadiliman is at this point.
Here.
Just doesn't seem to be the map that Kadiliman are too comfortable with. They let it in through the veto. They banned something else. They banned that fracture, I believe. Actually, let me check. I think I'm wrong. But they leave it open is the case in point. And after seeing it, how that initial bout went with them versus, you know, Rambutan ni Tatay RNT, I would have thought this would have been one of their prio maps to remove. As instead they banned Lotus. Now they're paying heavy, heavy prices for it.
Yeah, they're having a very difficult time. They had a very difficult time in the first half.
Point.
Having to again penetrate through ZOL's defenses, trying to see which they can access, and losing these gunfights. And I feel like ZOL definitely has better positioning when it comes to making sure that every single time there is going to be a trade, there is going to be the numbers advantage, and as well as the way that they gather information. And that's why we're already at match point. ZOL feels like, again, they're very, very clean, and they're very, very strong in this series.
Clean is a word that is absolutely appropriate in the meantime here for ZOL. Have yet to really slip up in this map number 2. It's Kadiliman who just can't really get a grip of the situation, get a grasp, and slipping away from their hands instead. A necessary evil, perhaps, to keep on in here, but it's ZOL who have no problem wading in these waters. Savano gets a pick, and that's the one they needed.
Oh, Yeah, those are a lot of good picks from the side of Kadiliman.
Oh!
But still, it's a 2v1.
No
It's all
way.
up to Dispenser. Can he do it? That's the question. Question mark. He's gonna be coming from garage here.
No way.
We'll
That
have to
was
see.
that was a 2v5.
Yeah.
And now it's a 1v2.
Yeah. How is that even possible? Now it's a default plan. Oh, Dispenser finds the headshot, and he doesn't find a second. Naru denies that. And there we go. ZOL takes the last spot, and they're heading over to the regular season.
And there you go, ZOL are your final representatives into the regular season. I can't believe that this is how they qualify into it. A statement of an ending there to put an exclamation at the end of it. Kadiliman are out, ZOL are in.
It was an unexpected turn of events because we saw the foundation of what the series could have been because of Split. It started with, again, very, very back and forth, and it only boiled down to the last when they all went to the double-digit scores. And looking at Haven, it was a completely opposite story, as in, again, very consistent player from the very first map into Haven, did a lot when it comes to this map.
Yeah, really, no point of contention at all here. During this second map of theirs, and ZOL were just completely on top of everything. The information they're able to gather to then, I guess, conclude into how they should close out the round. Those type of things are what we saw come in tenfold for ZOL time after time after time. And there was just simply no real way that we saw KDM be as, I guess, proactive in terms of gaining their own advantages. A lot of the windows, it seemed like they were waiting to be given to them, to be opened by the opposing side, but you have to create those opportunities if they're not presenting themselves, and we didn't see that much often from KDM.
And that's the thing, there were a couple of opportunities where they had the numbers advantage, especially the last round that we saw. And the fact that ZOL is able to work with the resources that they have when it comes to even lack of air quote manpower, especially at such a critical point, just is a huge testament on how stable they are as a team.
Yeah, for sure. I talked about, we've been talking about expectations for them throughout this entire series long. It's going to be Naru from ZOL delivering the win with Grab Unlimited at the end. We know that this man has been such an influential piece, so reliable, but unfortunately here, one of the, I guess, fan favorites in Kadiliman, they go down here today. But still, what a valiant effort. Would have been nice to see them as well qualify into this, but we only got 8 slots, and those are toughly fought for, with ZOL being the finalists of it.
Yeah, that's true. It's that story of, again, a lot of the teams competed throughout the open qualifiers. It was a grueling process, and at the end of the day, we are able to see, again, the top 4 teams. But the series MVP, we've got Zin from ZOL Esports. No questions there. This is indeed a no question, a no-brainer, black and blue.
Oh yeah, like we saw him go, what was that, 9 first kills during map number 1, and then 6 into this, 15 total off of 2 maps. That is insane to come in from a player like him, and they benefited off of it so much. We saw just how much space he was able to create, but once again, when you have that opening pick, a lot of the times that means that you guys are playing with an advantage and the opposite are playing with a deficit to start off every round.
Yeah, and I feel like Zind is the player that really made every entry count. There was no situation where when he initiated and entered the site, he made the most value out of it every single time.
Yeah, definitely to be made. Congratulations to ZOL. We've had a great performance here from that roster. I cannot wait to see them in the regular season. We were talking about a while ago, remember, Riku, that we saw the SR Nacague brand with the new players make it into the regular season, and then we saw this kind of old squad now with a new face into it, and there you go, from top to bottom. Here are your regular season Stage 2 2023 VCTPH teams.
Yep, there we go. We've got the 4 qualified teams from Split 1 as your top 4. And as for the rest, Rambutan ni Tatay, looking for sponsor, SR Nacague and ZOL Ragnar are the ones that qualified through, again, the open qualifiers.
Yes, of all things, these are the teams that you have to look out for coming into this. Let's not forget that LFO, that looking for a sponsor squad, is that former Abaddon Abyss squad we saw last time around with Exotic, V Black, Slatham, the whole crew back at it, but this time looking for a new face, Rambutan ni Tatay, a team that we have come accustomed to many times in the past with different names, different configurations. Now they come all together, some of the biggest, most entertaining names you have here in our scene, and I cannot wait to be entertained here going into the regular season. I am excited, and I'm glad that for this I get to cast with you, Riku, for actually the first time, I think, us together.
Yes, actually, yes, it is indeed the first time. Very, very, very happy. You know,
Yay.
we got to cast. Yes.
And we find out here today as well that you are officially on record suspicious. So
Please.
I'm glad about that. I'm glad I get to deliver that to the people, the message.
I have no idea. Once again, that is the question in my mind right now. You literally said the word superstitious, and I said a different thing. But
A bit of a Freudian slip,
back-
it seems.
yeah, going back to the teams, it feels like really, really nice to see some of the returning players from Split 1, even though they're not in the same teams anymore. Just as you said, it's a different configuration, it's a different setup. I'm so excited for Split 2 and see how competitive VCTPH can get.
Oh, I am very so as well. I cannot wait to once again really see how things are going to go into that regular season. We got some favorites, but we got some hot-headed hands coming into the regular season here from the Open Qualifiers. For the meantime, though, thank you guys so much. I am Black and Blue. With me is Riku, and we're going to be signing off for today. Do have a wonderful evening. We'll see you guys soon.